this, right? Aris is the kind of person that if they didn't have to divorce, he would stay with Jasmine forever. Okay, all right, because it's comfortable, right? He would stay with Jasmine and be comfortable. Probably end up cheating in the course of the relationship, but it'd be comfortable him staying with Jasmine, right? He was comfortable by the end. Number two, I think with Aris and Jasmine, I think Aris, whilst not trying to be confrontational, wanted to tell her something, which is, I need you to have the B in you, okay? All right, and you told me at the end that Jasmine, you got a bit of the bitch in you, but he's like, I need to see a bit more of that bitch in you, okay? And Jasmine be talking, but not giving us none of that, okay? She be saying that she gonna give it, but we never see it, okay? So Aris really wanted to see her have a little bit more of the bitch in him. Let's be honest, okay? Yeah, he wanted to see more of that energy from her. Okay. Now I was a little bit concerned by the comment when he said, obviously, I want it, stronger, whatever, harder, faster, whatever. Put my leg up. I was like, bro, you talking about yourself? Or you talking about the girl? Because it sounds a little bit like you want to take it from yourself. And at that point, I was a little bit shook. Okay, but I don't think he's gay. I just think he meant, but the woman was saying that to him, and that's what he'd be getting. I think he wanted a bit more of that push pull effect from Jasmine. I think his non-confrontational ways, he ends up with women that are a bit more confrontational. I think it pulls him out of his natural comfort zone. I think Jasmine, being the same as him, he rejected the same energy that he was receiving from her, and it wasn't attractive to him. But she looked beautiful. He did challenge her on. He did challenge her on her being self-love, because he said obviously he hugs himself. I was like, Negro, you don't even know your own pitfalls of your own trauma you're carrying that makes you unable to actually fully give your whole heart, to the woman that you're in a relationship with. So, bro, before you start talking about because you hug yourself, that's how you love yourself, sir. Better check yourself before you wreck yourself. You need to know that, listen, you got trauma, bro. I'm not saying that you can't, two things can't be true, but I was like, you coming on a high horse, and I'm like, you don't even see your own pitfalls. You struggling to be in a relationship, you struggle to be in one long term, and you talking like you are one of these people on a high horse, you're gonna get dashed off that high horse real quick. So I need you to calm the frick down. Okay? I need you to calm the frick down. All right, I need you to chill. Okay? All right, because that ain't it at all. That ain't it. Okay? That weren't it. That won't be it. Then that ain't it. Okay. All right. So that wasn't for me. I was like, he tells himself that he's beautiful and loves himself. I was like, that's great. Did you tell yourself to learn how to maneuver in a relationship? Did you tell yourself how to be better in a relationship? Because that's what I need to see from you. Okay. You didn't give 100% and you barely tried. And I know because you don't find her attractive, but the reality is you could have done a better job. Clint showed you up by showing us how you can turn up. By not how you can turn up even though you've been turned down. You feel what I'm saying to you, right? And Aris didn't give us that. Okay, so I don't want you trying to come out here on your high horse like you better than everybody, better than Jasmine. When, in all honesty, sir, no. But I do take into account what he said. He liked the fact that Jasmine did stand up for herself and was a bit more assertive, and so we do appreciate that aspect of him as well. Okay, so that was also happening. Then let's talk a little bit about Gina and Clint, because Gina is a whole damn problem. Okay, and what really pissed me off, okay, what got my knickers in a twist. And I don't even have knickers. That's how twisted I am. What got my knickers in a twist was the fact that not one expert held Gina accountable. Not one. Okay, and we've been here before. Just saying, okay? We've been here before, all right? With the Haley thing, we've been here before where they don't hold a Karen accountable, okay? All right? They don't hold a certain cockazoid accountable. And I need her to be held accountable for her absolute trash behavior throughout the season. How can your dog like your husband more and you want to go on like you're the better partner? Look, even in the conversation with the experts, she was still trying to throw a little bit of a shot. She was like, "Oh, you know what? You could have worked on. You could have worked on actually, even though you didn't get any, even though it didn't seem like it. You could have tried to come after. You could have tried to come after you. Are you dumb? Are you all right? Are you stupid? Are you okay? Are you nuts? Are you cracked cocaine? Are you all right? You've lost the plot. Are you snorting that white stuff again? Because clearly you're off your rocker, right? You want me to come and chase you when I've been cooking, I've been cleaning, I've been loving your dog. I tried to talk to you, and you want me to do what more? I come to your salon. What more do you want from me? You have had a problem with me, and every single time you keep mentioning your blood clot weight, and we don't care about it anymore. It was mentioned once about your 26-inch waist, once mentioned about being athletic, and that was it. Sis took it from there and ran a 400 meter and said, I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to run 800 today. And said, I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to do a 1500. And said, I ain't going to stop there. I'm going to do a 3000K, a 3000 meter run. Like, sis, you just kept on running around the track, on a track, on a track, on a track, on a track again. And I'm just like, why are you? We're still mentioning this athletic body. Baby, you want to let it go? How many times do you want Clint to apologize? Like, let it go. Okay? Elsa could sing a song and you still be going. Okay? Elsa could be singing and you still want to hold on to this athletic body comment. When you call somebody a ginger, and he didn't mention a ginger thing anymore. What is the problem? Come on, sis. God damn. Trying to make it as if he's the issue in this whole situation. No, this is you the problem. You the problem, Gina. Gina. Excuse my ears. You know what I mean? Like, Gina, I need you to fix up. You know what I'm saying? Right? And not one expert held her accountable. Not one expert. Hearing what this woman was saying throughout the whole of the season, not one person held her accountable. Nobody even noticed that her dog decided to even wanted to love Hank more than he loved her. No one noticed that. Oh, so we just noticed that. You didn't notice the fact that her own dog wants to transfer to another owner. Do you know how wild that is? That her own dog wants the husband. That should kind of tell you what kind of owner she is and what kind of person what person Clint is. And not one expert held her accountable. So she's going to do this again because nobody told her behavior was off. Okay? She's going to do it again. Okay? She's going to do it again because no one's holding her accountable. Okay? That dog Hank loves Clint. All right? All right, so Gina said, Gina, get to stepping, Gina, get to stepping, Gina. I need to watch Martin reruns. Yeah, so for me, I was annoyed about Gina and Clint's situation. I was like, nobody held her accountable. She was just doing nut stuff and just talking reckless. I just thought to myself, like, someone needs to hold her accountable. Like, he's not the problem, you are. You need to hold yourself accountable. Like, you are the problem, sis. Okay, all right, you are the problem. And did you notice? Even at the end, what did Clint do? Held himself accountable. Did Gina? Did anybody hear what Gina could have done better? Did you notice that Clint was the only one that said what he could have done better? Did you hear Gina say what she could do better? Not one thing did you hear out of Gina's mouth what she could have done better. Not one thing came out of her mouth to say, hey, you know what? I could have done something better. I could have worked on this. Not one thing. And not one expert picked up on it and said, do you know what? We need to hold her accountable because she's moving mad. Gina's got deeper issues. And honestly, I believe that Gina's got deeper issues. I think Gina's got deeper issues. And when we mentioned this a few weeks ago, about 7 weeks ago, I mentioned it because that's how long it's been since I watched it. That Gina doesn't like men. Y'all don't want to believe. She don't like men. Okay, whatever her daddy did to her, it pissed her off, and she don't like men. She don't like men. Not that she's gay, but she don't like men. Okay, don't like men. Okay, so I need her to go and heal. I don't think she's gay, but I definitely feel she don't like man. She needs to go and heal. Okay. All right, so I need to go and do that work. Okay, all right. So just saying. All right, that's Gina and Clint, and then obviously a fourth couple. Okay, all right, Shaq and Kirsten. Now let me just say this: at the beginning of the season, I was hard on Kirsten. I really was. I was on Kirsten's neck. and I'm going to say this. At the very beginning, I believe that she has turned a leaf at the end of the show. I do believe that. There's some turning of a show. I do believe there has been some turning of the leaf a little bit of her side, right? My thing is, I'm gonna say this to anybody out here. Sometimes you have to just shut up. Yeah. Sometimes when you feel something, don't say it. Yeah. Because see now how you told someone you don't find them attractive. Now you got to come back on yourself. Don't say it. Yeah. Don't say it. Okay. Because now, listen, Shaq has never forgotten. That boy has never forgotten that she called him. I'm telling you, he's never forgotten. Right? At every time, have you noticed that whenever Kirsten says something nice about where they're going or he will always dampen the mood by saying, well, I felt lonely. I felt alone. You didn't check up on me. Right? He did the exact same thing. Okay. He did the exact same thing. The last time they met the experts, as soon as it got to a point, he started shitting on the situation again. And I mentioned it in my other review about it. I said he keeps doing it. Right? And it's like, if every time we talk, we're getting to a positive place, he keeps on bringing it back down again. I said, that's going to get boring real quick. It's going to get boring real quick. Now, that's my thing about Shaq in that instance. But again, I do understand when someone tells you at the very beginning they don't feel you, it's going to be hard to recover no matter what. Because this girl was on his neck, talking about how he laughs and this and that. I ain't forgotten. You know what I mean? I'll be honest with you, me personally, I wouldn't have forgotten. Okay? So it would have been hard for her to come back because I would have been like, I ain't forgotten what you said. I can't trust you. You were cussing me for my laugh. You were cussing me for the fact you thought I had a bald head. You didn't find me attractive. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how to come back, right? Similar to Aris and Jasmine. There's no comeback. Like, once you tell me I'm butters to you, I'm clapped to you, I'm ugly to you, I'm facially challenged to you, once you tell me that to my face, I'm going to be honest with you, there ain't much of a comeback. Okay? All right? Now, I'm going to leave here with something. And that's for sure. I'm going to get them panties off. I ain't going to lie to you, but I can't trust you. Okay? I'm going to treat you like they treat people in Power Book 2. Okay? All right? I'm going to use you and throw your side, baby, because I can't trust you. You know what I mean? Loyalty's at a premium right now. You get me? Yeah? So for me personally in that, yeah, it's not the team. Yeah? Okay? All right? So now, as for Kirsten, I did see a change. I felt like I did see a change, I did see a change. Robin said, shame on me. Shame on you. If you think you're going to call me ugly to my face and think I'm not going to play you, you must be freaking mad. Don't do it. Shame on you for taking me for a dickhead. Shame on you. But no, I did see a change from Kirsten, I believe. I felt like I saw a change, and I saw her open up. I think she's a hard person she's a hard cookie, But again, like I said, I'm not jumping walls. I'm not doing it, so I refuse to. I refuse to jump over the walls. You know what I mean? I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. And, I think this showed me this as well. But yeah, no, with Kirsten, I think she did open up towards the end and she was showing a bit more a care and affection. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the damage has been done. So I guess I'm leaving. Oh, the damage is done. So I guess I'll be leaving. You don't have to say what you did, because I already know. I found out from you get me. So there isn't going to be much of a comeback in that instance. I better check on my chicken because it's in the oven. But yeah, no. So for me personally, I think between the two of them, I think that I think he will say no. I think he felt like there were some things that she just doesn't do. I think she's not a naturally intuitively caring person. And I think caring in terms of like, not that she won't care at all, but she's not intuitive in terms of her servitude. You know what I mean? What I mean by that is, some people before you've almost even said it, they kind of are on it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, if you're carrying shopping, they immediately know, let me carry the shopping. You know what I mean? Like, I think that aspect of her is not necessarily there for Shaq anyway. Um, so I definitely feel like he definitely needs more care, and I think she's gonna struggle with that. You know, she wants a man. She wants a man's man. And let me not say that again. She wants a man that is less metro, more hetero, and that's no offense to Shaq. She wants him less emotional, more stoic, you know, as well. So I think him being a more emotional person, which you mentioned today, it's made it very difficult for her to come into space. And what he mentioned was very important. He's tried to lead before, and she wouldn't allow him to. So that's a big thing. Let's talk about, you know, that's a real thing. So um, yeah, uh, so that's a tough thing as well. So yeah, no, you know, I think these couples were interesting. So let me get a few people on as well, get the conversation flowing, and get us talking about some of the craziness of this episode as well, because it was crazy blood. Yeah, man. All right, cool. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Yes, folks. Sorry, my headphones just dropped. I have to grab that. Gone somewhere. I don't have to grab it after. But yeah, welcome, guys. Good to see you guys. Trey, Crystal, JR. Good to see y'all. We're back at it again. I guess we've got another 3 episodes to go, apparently. Um, yeah, so it's a mad. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. We're gonna start with a bang. Let's start with Gina and Clint. I want to get you guys' thoughts on the Gina and the Clint, baby. Gina and the Clint. What's you guys' thoughts? D-Day, they decided to say no, 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 no. But I want to get you guys' thoughts on that as well. Yes, JR. Oh,
Good
sorry.
evening, people. Yeah,
Gina and
cool.
Clint, go for it.
Yeah, Gina and Clint, not surprised at all. You know, I knew Gina was definitely going to say no, and Clint rightly said no. Um, Gina even mentioned her salon. She even managed to get in a quick plug today, like on the episode, right? I think also after she made her decision, she actually again kind of tried to throw a shade Clint's way, you know, talk about, you know, something that he wasn't doing. He needed to make more initiative. If he had made more of initiative and made a move on her, you know, that's kind of what she was expecting, despite her not feeling him. So I call cap on that. She definitely wasn't interested. And, you know, what was he being shown from her to give him the forwards? You know, she wasn't doing that at all. So he did the right thing. He stayed quite composed the whole way through, despite their disputes and stuff. And yeah, I think the most growth, most connection Clint had was with Hank. All right, that was the only growth in that whole dynamic there. So yeah, I call cap on Gina for that.
You don't have to say what you did. I already know. Oh, the damage is done, so I guess I'll be leaving. Listen, I agree with Kojo, and this she don't like God, she don't like men, but I don't think she's gay. I just think that there are some women that whatever they've been through in life, or you get to a certain point, and whatever your history is part of your now, and that's I think that's where she's at. Secondly, she's wrong for what was it at their last little hurrah with the therapist or with the with the Dr. Cal and what's her name? And she was like, well, I just think he's a little crass, and I just think he's this, and I just think he's that. I'm like, I swear, you didn't tell him any of this in the last 6 weeks. I just thought that was wrong that she pulled that. It didn't surprise me about her because you could tell on the trip, the look on her face when he was like the sexual innuendo she didn't like. But I was like, this is one time out of what 6 weeks that he's done that, and I think that she was just trying to pick something else that she didn't like about him. So you are weird. I mean, you are strange. Don't act imperious like you were just this holier than thou, and you're this type of woman, and you're Miss Prissy, and you want a man that's just like this type of guy, and you are strange. And so I'm like, so he's just supposed to take that? I just thought she's just so like she wanted to find something to browbeat him about. So, I mean, this is where she is, and I totally agree with Kojo. I was waiting for her to come back to him. She said that what she didn't like about him and what what she wanted, he didn't give her. And he said, okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. And, oh, she said, I wish he would have done this. I wish he would have tried harder. I wish he would have went for it. I wish he would have done this. I wish he would have done that. He said, okay, I'll take that. And she's like, and she said, I accept your apology or something like that. And I said, sweetheart, where's yours? Where's your reciprocity in this? And it was nothing. She did not reciprocate any type of accountability this whole 6 weeks or 8 weeks. I was like, girl, so you're just going to let this man apologize and let this man fall on the sword, and you're not going to say anything? You gave him nothing. So, yeah, Gina, I'm just like, be happy in your own pissed off world, because, yeah, you gave him nothing. That's it for now.
This woman pissed me off. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm trying to bring myself back. I'm trying to. I'm usually a very calm, even keel guy. I'm very logical. I have controlled emotions, maybe too controlled at times. But when I actually heard her talk, it triggered me. I went, "What this bitch? What?" I couldn't believe. I was like, "No." This woman had the nerve to say to the experts when the experts asked her, well, is there anything that could have been done that could have changed this? With her lips, I just feel like, if he would have just initiated and touched me more. And I was like, what? Here you go. I saw Clint's face. I was watching it when this happened. I saw Clint's face. Clint went, he went, what? For real? What? They cut the Dr. Pepper. Even her face went, Pastor Cal even went, Now I was thinking, I was like, all right, this is the time where the experts cut in and say something to her. This is it. This is it right here. Go. They said nothing. They literally sat here this whole season and let this woman assassinate this man's character. And let's keep it real. There was one point in that conversation, Dr. Pepper I blame her because she brought it up. She was skirting around the issue of what actually happened to them. Because it started all the way back to the beginning. She was skirting around the issue. She's like, we understand certain things happen and, and what led to this. I'm like, this is your time to talk about it. Let's keep it real here. Let's just keep it all the way funky. They were, at least on Clint's part, he was okay with her. He was fine. He was feeling it. They're in Jamaica. He's like, I kind of like the chick. Cool. Yeah, let's do this. The moment she said, well, I just never been into gingers with people with ginger features. It just hasn't been my vibe. It's not my type. It was over from that point for Clint. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yes, I understand what he said next was the next day. It was bad. It was out of context. I get it, but let's keep it real. I was. It's the wrong thing to say. I know, but I was here for Petty Clint because that was wrong what she said. It was wrong. It was disrespectful. Like what? I'm ginger. I have ginger features. What you trying to call me? What are you saying? And they said nothing about this. They got on Clint for what he said in front of the ladies and her. Got her all upset. And Clint apologized, showed constriction. Like, yeah, you know what? I was wrong for saying that. But they never touched why it started in the first place. Y'all.
This woman called him odd, called him all kinds of, well, you are crass, man. I just don't like the way you talk and you do. And I'm like, but he's not strange. Like he's likes to have a good time. And I said, and I was like, he only got drunk at his birthday, unless he got drunk more than we saw, because they could have cut some things out. But I said, but he got drunk on his birthday. Why is this why are you making him out to be this horrible crass person? Because she's picking something to try to go ahead.
We all know what it is. Let's just keep it real. She's jealous of Clint. She's jealous of him. Everyone literally, if you think about it, everyone literally likes Clint out of those two as a couple. They only speak good things about Clint. Clint is the life of the party. They actually go to Clint to talk to because he actually does give good advice to people. Very even-keeled advice. But he's also the life of the party. They don't come to Gina for that. No one does. Like, outside of the scenes that they were forced to, film with her or whatever, do you really see them flock to Gina? They flock to Nicole, her nosy behind. But you don't see them go to Gina.
But I also think that she may not even be a people person. Like, she can deal with her employees or people, as far as the hair salon, but the other people, I don't know that she can relate to other people or other women. I don't know that. I just have not seen that. She talks like she's chewing her face. I think that, Clint had plenty of things to combat her with, but he didn't, and he was very respectful. And he was also, trying to navigate this whole situation that was very hard. And I thought he did a good job. Like, there was just so many times, and I said, you were literally just picking at this man. And she's never given him any reason to feel like he could just like take initiative.
I mean, I'm being petty right now, I know this, but does she really get along with her employees? Because they seem like they keep quitting, doing their own business, don't show up to work. I'm like, I mean, I've been paying attention, even though I give y'all, there's been some boring moments, but I pay attention to shows when I watch it. And I've been hearing some of the stuff she might say about her employees. This one do this one say that. One's quitting this week, this one don't show up. I'm like, you running a business? I don't know. It don't seem like a tight ship to me.
Yeah, and I agree with Kojo that part where she's called Clint out in front of Dr. Cal and Dr. Pepper. That was the only time that that couple gave us anything. It was nothing.
The dog likes her more than the dog likes Clint.
Absolutely.
Her. It's a fact.
That was actually funny. Did you guys? How much did Clint offer for the dog?
10 rats.
$10,000.
What?
Really?
10 rats for the dog, and she said no.
Girl, get your butt another dog.
Should have taken it.
Is she stupid? You see, that's how I know she can't run the business.
I would have gone straight to the business and given her more money for it.
You can go buy another dog for cheaper than that. What you talking about?
She absolutely can. She can get a whole dog for $2,000.
Check this out. She could have got the 10 rats. Tell Hank, hey, I still want to be in his life and this like that. Okay, fine. Clint's the type of person, yeah, of course. You know,
Honestly,
we live in the same
they're the
building,
best of
we hang
friends.
out, blah, blah, blah. What?
While Clint is doing whatever he does a boating. He's a what do you call it? A sailing and
Sailor.
everything. He's a sailor, right? When Clint's on his sail, does his competitive sailing, she can take Hank. Like, girl, get your money. What? See, that's again.
Exactly. That's why you know she's not smart, because she could have taken the money and she could have also reduced her own living expenses, because she doesn't have to pay for the dog 24/7. Don't have to buy dog food as much. Don't have to worry about it. Have a dog sitter or dog walker. She don't have to do any of that stuff. Clint would do all of that, right? But she's not smart. But
I'm gonna say something bad. She's not that smart. She's not that smart.
No, she's not. She's not business savvy at all. But
Jasmine would have did it.
Yeah.
Jasmine's
also a
Jasmine
breeder.
needs dogs anyway.
Oh
But
my gosh, Tim Rex. Are you kidding?
what I would say is, like, Clint's birthday was well into the show, well into the season.
Yes.
Right. So she wasn't feeling him well before he drank at his own party.
Right.
So I agree. There is an element of envy when she sees the personality that Clint has attract so much attention in the room. People, laugh and joke with him, and he likes to, I wouldn't even say be the life and soul of the party. He's just naturally him, and people just gravitate towards him, right? So I think there's a certain element of he takes away her shine, right?
Yeah.
Like she thinks she's worthy of all the attention when she steps in the room. Clint, I think, if he did have a drink at his birthday, there's nothing wrong with that. But I wouldn't blame him if he was drinking as well, because she was taking shots at him all the time. So, like, if he was having a beer every night to relax and wind down, I would have knocked him for the either, because she was really picking at him a lot, right? And let's be real, he's not a bum. He's not going to get drunk and not turn up for work the next day. He's very accomplished in what he does, right? So I think she was just overly hard on him. She didn't allow him to lighten up. And the other thing I'll add is, we say sometimes, like, if someone you're attracted to says something compared to when someone you're not attracted to says or does something, right? It's two completely different reactions.
Sure.
If Clint had have been more forward and tried to instigate any type of physical or sexual anything with her, because she's already off him, she's already repulsed by him, trust me, she would have made that a huge issue. Like, he would have got PC'd, like cancelled, for making unwanted advances. So I'm glad he avoided that trap too. A very smart guy in that respect. He didn't do anything to make the situation worse. It was purely down to her own perception of him why she felt the way she did. I don't think he did anything per se that was outlandish. I think she was clutching at straws, trying to, come up with more and more things. And then also there's the element of Mac in the DMs with her. Now, I definitely think Mac made a play for her. Now that he's off the show, he doesn't have anything to lose.
Way early.
Let's cover this a little bit.
Exactly. So when she realized that Mac's attracted to her, and she probably finds him more attractive than Clint. Clint can't do anything about being ginger. He's got ginger hair all over. There's nothing he can do. So Mac being a free agent now, I also took note at the end. It was Nicole that kind of instigated. Oh, so why, would you go on a date? Why don't you and Gina go on a date, Mac?
That was set up.
That was set up, yeah. But she's trying to matchmake them so soon, knowing that they were coupled with other people. So, yeah, I think there's more to that Mac story. I don't think it was purely him just checking in to see how she was doing. Now, I think it was more like he was making a play for her and basically saying, listen, you're probably not going to say no on this, say yes on decision day. If that's the case, why don't we hook up?
Right. I mean, let's cover this a little bit. What did Mac say? That, there's this mutual friend of ours that's kind of a celebrity. She's a singer. And, I know I didn't have enough chance, but I slid into Gina's DMs to see if, I could get a meeting. I was like, oh, please. And then he said, well, I knew I didn't have a chance with her. That's because you weren't trying to meet with that girl. You wanted to slip into Gina's DMs.
Exactly. And then also at the end, we do see that Clint is rolling with another lady now. They're playing games, doing some adventure stuff.
That's get back.
Yeah.
Right. But
That's get
at
back.
the end of the day, he ain't wasting no time, because I think we all came to the conclusion that we don't think Clint's going to struggle to find another relationship.
Oh yeah, and he even said that in the beginning. It's not hard for me to date. It's not hard for me to have sex. It's not hard for me to meet somebody. I just wanted to get that commitment. I just wanted to see, the other side of it.
The funny thing is, the reason why this situation is kind of overall just sour and sad. I remember specifically in the beginning. Like I know we talk about how Mavs do these bad parents, and they do, but there are times when they do listen to these people when they say they want certain things. Gina did say in those first few episodes. That's why I always watch the first 2 or 3. To me, it's important. You actually learn about the person, and I judge that to how they act and what they say about themselves. Gina specifically said she acknowledged that she was a workaholic for a number of years and she worked too much. Now she was at a point in her life where she wanted to have some adventures, branch out, experience things. So they particularly matched her with a man who literally goes on adventures to pull that out of her and give her that. Look what excuse me, I was about to say something. Look what she did with it. She abused it. That just tells me you didn't deserve it in the first place.
And you touched on a very valid point. With her throwing herself into work as much as she says she has, she runs her own business. Her work is her life, right? So obviously, the ability to have a relationship is going to be very hard for her to adapt to, no matter if it's a marriage or any dating situation, because she talks about work a lot. She works a lot. Outside of work, she probably doesn't have time to do much else. So cultivating a relationship, which will take time to do, like she doesn't, she's not programmed for that right now. And, Mac, if anything does develop between them, it may end for the same reason. She may be more attracted to him, but she may be too adapted to her work life, and her personality will reflect that, which may not make an enjoyable experience for Mac to be dating her. But it's very, very sneaky what Matt did, because she was still on the process. She was still in the show, and he's there going to Aris. Right. Yeah, so I slid into her DM. Like, listen, Aris was right to be like, oh no, I don't want to get involved in none of this. I'm staying out.
Aris ain't stupid. He didn't been down this road before. He know where this go. Nah, I ain't getting in the middle of this. You notice he didn't tell Jazz music. I bet he didn't, because she would have went back and blabbed that. It's like, nope, I'm out. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't in this. My name Benny.
And we would have had a blow up like when who was it? Alexis. On the last season when she went back and told. I can't remember who it was, but she was spreading gossip, right? I think it was Miguel's. Was it Miguel's wife?
Nah, it was Tybo girl. What was her name?
Oh yes, yeah. Tybo girl. Yep.
Hey, I don't know her name. Y'all know what I'm talking about, though. Tybo girl.
Yeah, crazy Tybo.
yeah.
Alexis and girl. I think isn't her name Nicole too? Something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but
Morgan.
Yeah. But you
Craig
do have a
Morgan,
point. She did say that when she first filled out her application, that she wanted somebody that's more fun and everything. And I remember when she was leaving with what did she say to Dr. Pepper and Cal, that I wish he would have made these suggestions. If he would have said, let's go whitewater rafting, why didn't he just make those suggestions? Why didn't he just go for it? You never gave this man the impression that you were interested past just friendships, past just eating together. So he kind of adapted to her personality, and he kind of went inside himself. I feel like, what's his name? Clint just kind of lost himself in it. He was just like, I'm just going to ride this out until the end, and that's it. But, he didn't make this suggestion. He didn't make that suggestion. Girl, please. Just please. Mm.
Mm.
I definitely hear what you guys are saying. Still, I hear what you guys saying. I mean, just to finish the cap of what you guys said as well. Like, I definitely think Gina should have given the dog over. 10K is not a small amount of money. She could use that to rebuild the business. She could have said, you know what, you can't have Hank, but I'll give you some puppies of Hank. You know, so, you know, or maybe I can take the puppies of Hank. Let me breed them up. You can get Hank after. You know what I mean? Would have been a smart business deal. But hey ho, it is what it is. All right, let's talk about another couple as well. Chris and Nicole, let's break them down really quickly as well, because you know, I don't think there's much to say about them. We know about them already. But Nicole was on edge. I mean, up until the wedding day, she was on edge. She wasn't sure if he was gonna say yes. Like, you know, it felt some type of way. You know, it felt some type of way. She felt some way, and you know, in the
Oh, he done froze up on us.
Oh, we got a frozen.
He's frozen. I'll be quick.
Clap on, clap on.
I'll be quick. Nicole is neurotic, and I'm wondering if she's on some type of anti-anxiety. Oh, are you back? Okay. Okay. Nicole is neurotic. I wonder if she's on some type of anti-anxiety medicine. She's got this low self-esteem is really walks in 5 feet in front of her, and she needs to just relax. And you have to be confident at some point. You have to, just, be happy with yourself and not, oh, well, what if this, what if that, he's going to leave me in a year and stuff like that. You've got to stop. And that can ruin the relationship. That can, all of her second guessing herself, that can really frustrate him to the point, you know what? Then, it's, what is that? Get out of your own way. Just stop. You're really, you putting yourself down is really hurting the relationship. I do think that he needs to take a little bit more initiative, but he also wants her to just calm down sometimes, and I think that, to the point, I almost think that he does it on purpose because she's so like high anxiety and stuff like that. I just think, let's just relax. Let's just worry about it later. But it's not sounding like that to her. So he's got to make the specific points. He's got to work in specificity, and that'll help her, calm down a little bit. But she's just high anxiety, and and just low self-esteem. And that's not gonna work itself out overnight. She needs therapy. That's all I got for them. And I knew that they were gonna say yes. They're the only ones that need to say yes this whole season. That's it.
I knew they were going to say yes. I called that one because, they're the only couple that kind of hit the ground running and formed a natural connection throughout, right? I definitely agree with you, Crystal, because, she has high anxiety and she overthinks. And she, not only does she overthink about what could happen with their relationship, but she also overthinks how she is as well, right? And he has to be the counterbalance to that. So that's also why I think they match, because if he began to get all neurotic and frazzled every time she goes off, then it's going to be a turbulent relationship. So he has to, the relationship kind of suits the fact that he doesn't have to change that about him.
Two fires aren't going to light
exactly. It'd be like fireworks, like firecrackers going off, like. So he has to be stoic, but also very reserved so that it counters how off the wall she can get, because she bounces around like a ping pong ball in her mind, right? And but saying that, I like what they said about each other, right? He finally said that he loves her, and to her, that meant a lot, because that's what she's been trying to get him to say from very early on in the season. And for him to naturally say it and, mean it, they didn't have a contentious or petty relationship. I did think that the Pastor Cow and the doctor, I think they did say something that was sensible, which was that both of them, they seem to have the natural chemistry, but because they haven't had that big bust up yet, or they haven't had much arguments, when the cameras stop rolling and they have their first argument, is it going to be something that is major because it, they haven't experienced it before? So will they then question their relationship together? I thought that was a very valid point. But yeah, like I said, wasn't surprised at this one at all. And there has to be one solid couple, and that was them.
Interesting enough, I knew there was going to be a yes. Both of them have insecurity issues. Vastly insecurity issues. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this. It's just for me looking at this. I think Chris's insecurities are a little bit more manageable. He can manage his a little bit more. Nicole, she's a classic case of literally get in your own way. Like she's a classic case of a self-sabotage. It's to the point that I don't think she can help it. Even though she knows she does it. That's the crazy thing. She knows she does it. But I don't think she's going to be able to help it. And I think you're right. I think Chris purposely tries to keep a calm demeanor because she is way on the other side of the spectrum. You can't, a person like that, let's just keep it real, you can't meet them halfway because it's just going to be too one-sided still. You have to pull back to the opposite direction to try to balance that out. Yeah, that's going to drive her a little crazy, but you have to because it's going to drive you crazy trying to match her. That's just going to make it worse. Now, it was interesting about them having an argument thing. I understood Pascal. I get where he was coming from because he had a strong point. But I've always been on the fence about that because I've never been an arguer. I would debate with you. We would talk like we are adults to one another. But I've always been the type, the moment you start yelling at me, I'm looking at you like you crazy until you calm down. Like, who you talking to? My mama a couple hundred miles away. And even she don't talk to me like that no more. What you talking about? I'm a grown-ass man. What you mean? No. Now, if you want to discuss things with me, I would discuss it all day. We can even have somewhat spirited discussions, but you ain't going to be yelling at me. Yeah, spirited discussions. I'm in my spirited discussion role right now. Voice a little elevated. Maybe it's a tad bit animated. But you ain't going to be yelling at each other. That doesn't help anything. So that part, I was like, all right, Pascal, wait a minute. Yelling, arguments, I get it. Because that is a thing. I don't think they, you really haven't seen, well, we see them inflict some type of conflict resolutions or whatever. But it's been mostly Chris just saying, all right, kind of placating her. Like, all right, it's cool. It'll be okay. Whatnot. There's only been like maybe one time that Chris was like, nah, I ain't doing that. Was that shirt issue? Like, nah, I ain't put that on. Like, no. No, stop it. And then the second time he did it, he still acquiesced and put on that dumb behind suit. Yeah. she's gonna drain the heck out of him. Oh my God.
Of course. He will be he's gonna get it every day pretty much, right? Because she doesn't know how to turn it off. Like you said, she's aware of what she does, and I think she is trying to work on it in some way. I don't, she doesn't seem like she's the type of person that knows what it is, and she's like, well, this is how I am, tough. Like, she feels like, it seems like she's trying to, acquiesce around him, right? But she is going to be draining. It's going to be a problem at times. but you know, and I also heard him bring up the dinosaur T-shirt because that was an issue for him. He did actually say, you know, we had the dinosaur issue and we're not going to do that again, and da 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 da. So it obviously was something that he felt she tried to control him, and he probably felt embarrassed to wear it. It was a punishment type thing. So, you know, at least he vocalized that, look, that was a problem for me, but it wasn't a big deal. And, you know, he still loves her and he's prepared to make it work. So, you know, hope he knows what he's setting himself up for, though.
This girl is catastrophizing and mind reading all over the place. And with I don't know which one of the people said it, Dr. Pepper or Pastor Cal, that when you guys do have a big blow up, I think that when they do have a big blow up, she's going to be like, he hates me, and it's all over, and that's it. He must hate me. And oh my God, like she is going to just, it's going to be so big. And that's why he was saying the stuff about, listen, if I'm appeasing you, if it's okay. If something's not a big deal to me, I'm not going to fight about it. Well, I don't want you to appease me all the time. But so she's the type of person is her self-esteem is like me, please like me. How do you like me? You don't like me? What did I do wrong? Why don't you like it? And he's just like, okay, well, let me sit here and let me think about this instead of, you know, overreacting. But all of her, like, why don't you like me? Why don't we do this? And she wants to overanalyze things to death, and that's not him. And she really needs to find that healthy balance. But everything is if they have a big argument, it's going to be a catastrophe to her. And she needs to stop, because that is not going to. And then she's the type that will also say something that she shouldn't say, or say something that she doesn't mean to him, in blow-ups. And she needs to just pull back and really, really think before she reacts.
Exactly, because I think with Nicole, some things just don't need to be said. She can think them. But that's the problem. She overthinks, and she will keep going over the same thing over and over again in her mind, and then she blurts it out. So, you know, you're right. What she needs to do is get with a therapist or someone that she can, you know, some wise counsel that she can talk through how she feels in certain instances that trigger these erratic thoughts, you know, because, you know, he doesn't seem like he's going to be able to put up with it but it's part of their relationship. She just has to, like I said, the good thing is she realizes it and she's trying to consciously make an effort to minimize it, because she doesn't like the way she feels. She said she doesn't like the way she feels when she does those things, because she realized that it kind of hurts him. So, you know, it's part of her package, but hopefully it doesn't unravel all the way, like on a consistent basis, to make him feel demoralized about being with her, you know.
Yo, somebody just reminded me of this in the chat. Yo, we should have had a live last week, Coach, because do y'all remember that part when it was with that group of men and she called her husband a beta male?
Yeah, that was bad.
Listen, when they rewatch this, which I know they probably rewatch this by now, yeah, let's not be surprised if Nicole and Chris are having issues or even together. Because if I was rewatching that, I'm like, wait a minute, you standing in a group of men and you call me a beta male? What?
And confidently and proudly too.
Ooh.
And with no prompting either. Like, I mean, you know, for the way she did it, boy, I'm surprised that.
I'll be honest.
You didn't hear about it.
You know, forgive me, I'm about to step on some toes. You know, we find it funny, like when they put men in these situations, a group of guys and some girls come up, or temptation, what's going to happen? Who's going to say the wrong thing? So I'm almost convinced some women just don't know how to handle when they get put in this situation. Because this was all a setup last week. You got those whole group of men come out of nowhere, and the only one to actually follow protocol is Kirsten.
Mm-hmm.
It's Kirsten?
Exactly. Out of all of them. Kirsten was.
Everybody. But
I'm
I
trying
have
to tell
give her
y'all.
this. She knew what she was doing. Kirsten ain't stupid. I give her that. Kirsten's not stupid. She was like, I see what's going on here. You ain't about to catch me. The rest of them acting the plum fool. You know, Jasmine tried to be like Kirsten, but you know, she going through her little issues, so the attention felt good to her. I understand. It still look bad, but I understand. Gina, of course, she don't care. But if you notice, she wasn't getting no attention in that crowd. Ooh.
Exactly. And that's why I think she stayed quiet, because she wasn't getting attention.
No, they
You know,
weren't.
people have speculated that Gina might even like Chocolate Brothers, right?
Yeah,
And
and they
there
weren't
were a
checking
group
for
of
her.
Chocolate Brothers, and none of them moved to her. So,
They're checking
you
for
know,
her. They were
that
even
might have
checking
been
for Nicole. They were checking for
exactly,
Nicole over her.
exactly. That might have been
We
a
ain't
little,
wanna.
that might have been a little humbling moment for her too, thinking that she's bad like that. You know,
Had me laughing.
exactly.
Had me
So
laughing.
yeah, listen, I hear what you guys are saying. So Chris Nicole definitely feel like, you know, with Chris Nicole, that Nicole needs to just a little bit of therapy just to calm her nerves down a little bit so she doesn't over zealously do it. But it's quite interesting. She's got her anxiety is one aspect of her, but she is quite the assertive person when she needs to be, when she wants to get ish done. So I agree with you. Last week I actually did watch that part where she had no problem, but the drink, you see, that's the problem with drink. Drink will have you saying stuff. People, listen, this is a lesson to learn. Stop drinking too much, right? Stop drinking too much, because you be saying some stuff you can't take back. She can't take that back now. And, you know, who knows how he going to receive it when he get the thing. Yet she was cranking and crying when he told her, listen, I ain't going to lie to you. You know, you know how you are a little bit. You know how she got a little bit emotional about the fact that he told her how you. But you know, so you know the quickness of speed of her to say, like, you know, yeah, he hit a beta male, but you know, I love him. And listen, I do appreciate she does cover him, but in that moment she uncovered him and told us how she really feels about him. He a bitch. That's what she's trying to say. This is my French. I don't want to say it, but that's what she wanted to say without saying it. He a bitch. Okay? And that's what she's going to say, right? Similar to, that's why she can really identify with Kirsten, because he was looking at Shaq like, he a bitch. Okay? And that's how they feel about them, you know? Don't ever let your woman feel like you're a bitch. Okay? Because it's the beginning of the end at that point, you know? And then it's dangerous too. Don't voice it, because you know the Negroes, some people can't take that too, you know? Chris, listen, before you know it, someone is on the news, you know, telling us, you know, he shot up the house and then he shot himself. You know, these things happen, you know, because people are a little bit emotional. So we got to be very careful. I'm just saying. So, yeah, no, I definitely saw that as well. So, but I think she is a little bit scared to lose Chris as well, but just needs to heal that part of her. Go for it, Joe.
Yeah, like I agree with you 100%, man. Like, looking at how Chris's personality type seems to be, like her saying that after he now loves her and feels the way he does, if he sees that comment or hears about her saying that, that's the type of stuff that would affect him deeply. He's gonna be like, what, you don't respect me, or you think I'm a bitch, or, you know, oh man, like that's gonna demoralize him, right? Because like I said, now he has proper feelings invested and he said yes to marrying her. So if that's how she really feels, oh dear, like that doesn't bode well. So I'd like to see how she explains that on the reunion if they air that clip. They may not, because they may not want to you know, expose that side of the interaction between the decoys, because that's what they were. They were decoys sent there to test the women, right? Some of the women aren't attracted to their partners, so send some guys to try and hit on them and see who takes the bait.
Oh, they airing that. They watch. They're gonna talk about that. That's gonna be hey, let's talk about that scene where the ladies was at the bar and the men came over. Nah, that was all set up.
You know what? You're actually right, because like everyone's been saying, this season's been a snooze fest and it's been dragged out. So they need some spice and something saucy to get people interested in the reunion, right?
Yep. Hey, I know everybody's asking this question. Listen, yes, some people have alpha personalities, some people have beta personalities. That's just a given. But when you put a negative connotation on that personality in regards, especially in regards to your partner, it can always be bad, especially when it's women going towards men. But let's keep it real. If I go around here and say, yeah, my chick, she just has a little beta personality. Oh, so she a pushover. Oh, so she has nothing about her. Some women would get upset about that too. Some women would get upset about that too.
Exactly. And some would even get upset if you said, my girl's masculine. She carries this alpha male energy. Be like, what? Like she wears the pants. She runs you, bro. That would be the natural thing to do, right? To assume. But yeah, so that comment might land Nicole in some hot water, and we'll see how that could be their first blow up. That could be one of the reasons why they go at it for the first time, right? But we'll see. We'll see. It's at least that is something to look forward to see if they do air it and to see how that pans out for them.
Oh, I think they will. I think it's coming. Yeah,
I think it would. If Kirsten had said that about Shaq, for example, then yeah, it would be over.
Yeah, but Kirsten's not that. See, here's the thing I caught on.
Shaq will fight back. Shaq will say something about it.
Here's the thing I caught on to Kirsten real quick early on. Kirsten we have seen two different Kirstens on the show. We got the very reserved, immune Kirsten in front of the camera. I'm one way Kirsten. But we've also seen little glimpses of the real Kirsten that Shaq's been hitting to when the cameras are gone behind the scenes or whatever. That Kirsten's a little different. That Kirsten, she saw them dudes roll up. She went, you ain't about to catch me in this bull crap coming. I see what's about to happen. I respected her for that. I had to give it to her. I respected her for that. I was like, okay, you was paying attention. You was paying attention. I see you.
All right, I hear y'all. All right, they're gonna move on. I don't know we had much to talk about Chris Nicole, but clearly we did. So there's spirited conversations that Trey let's talk about. Let's go to the next. Let's talk about Aris and Jasmine, because that was interesting. Aris and Jasmine, they wow. Let me just say this. I felt for Jasmine a little bit as well. Because our boy Aris was trying to throw her a little bit under the bus. But what was you guys' thoughts in why is yes, Crystal, go for it, and then Joe.
I really want to know what you gentlemen thought of his suit.
What are we talking about? Shaq's suit, which was the worst. Oh no, we're talking about Aris at the moment, though, right?
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Aris,
we didn't cover them yet. Oh
no. We're getting them. Don't worry, we're coming. Hold on,
don't worry. Yeah,
calm down.
We're heating up the barbecue for Shaq. We're heating up. We turn on the oven for him. Put the oil in the pan.
Don't worry. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know you're trying to cook on them. I get it.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
No, let's go for it, Joe.
Well, yeah. So I think Aris did a very similar tactic to what Gina did with Clint, right? When he started speaking about she doesn't love herself and all these other things, I was like, dude, bruh, when did you see that? Even she turned around and fixed her face up to be like, huh? Nah, she actually was just hoping that there would be a connection between you two and there would be some affection and some chemistry. It's nothing to do with her loving herself, unless there was some stuff that we didn't see, right? But Aris, he actually played a game the whole way through. He knew he wasn't feeling her from the start, right? But to try and make it something that she was doing that wasn't the case. He was not into her for whatever reasons. Maybe he likes a different type of personality. Maybe he's used to dating a different type of girl. But you know, him thinking that he would be ready for marriage, I think was his biggest mistake. He's not ready. He doesn't have it in him to give the level of affection and intimacy needed to have a successful marriage or relationship, right? It's just not there. I think he's more used to the wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Okay, I'll holler at you next Friday, date night, do something, right? He's not ready for the everyday. And even when he tried to say, you know what, when I came home and I put my keys in the door and she's not there, you know, I missed her. What did you miss though, Aris? And how did you show that you missed her? Like, where was the lovey-dovey? Where was the cuddling? Where was the kissing? Where was the I miss you, girl? You know, where's all that kissing and petting? It wasn't there because he wasn't feeling her. It was all lip service. He just wasn't into it from the start. So I'll land my plane there.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm back now. Yeah, Eris did the same thing that Gina did, and I said this a couple weeks ago, there is a difference between being confident and boastful about yourself. There's a difference between he wanted her to be have some more swagger. There's a difference between somebody being confident in themselves and having that swagger and having that just being boast. And he used a word, I can't think of it now. If y'all know in the chat, let me know. But there is a difference. I absolutely believe that she is confident. I just don't think, she wasn't, but she's humble. And he didn't want her to be humble. He wanted her to be loud and talk about herself and just, have all of that swagger up front. And that's just not her. I think that she really did want to carry herself like a lady and be respectful. And he didn't like that. That does not mean, and him saying, oh, well, I get up every morning and say, and I like myself. I
love myself.
I love myself. I don't think that she didn't love herself, but I do think that if you were with somebody for 2 months that you care about, that you're married to, you want them to care about you too. And it does have an effect on you. And you start those insecurities start to creep up when you're not hearing that back. And also you're sitting there telling that person what you like about them, but they're not giving you any accolades in return. That's tough. And so of course she started to not like what she saw in the mirror. But I call cap on him, getting up every morning and saying how I love myself and you may not hear me because you still sleep. Oh, please, boy, shut up. I disagree with that altogether. And I'm glad that she said something in return. If he would have even said, she's confident, but she's too humble. I want somebody that's more humble. I would have been like, okay, cool. I got you on that. But the way he said, I want somebody that loves themselves. I want somebody I don't think Eris loves himself. I truly don't believe that Eris loves himself. So I think that he needs somebody to love themselves. So he will, it's almost like they evened each other out, because just like we said with Nicole and Chris, they need the opposite a little bit. He needs somebody to be a little bit more boastful so he can be less calm, so he can have that confidence it motivates you, and he needs that body to give him that motivation. And she didn't do it. And she wanted that in return. But I'm so glad that she said to him, he never put his best foot forward. When I stood there and I saw him, I said, at least my husband is cute. I at least wanted somebody that was cute. She tried. He never gave enough. When he didn't try in the beginning, anything that looked like effort was not trying at all to her. So I'm glad she said something behind that. I'm glad she said something to him in the back behind that afterwards. And her dress was very pretty. She looked very pretty and she carries herself very well. So I think that, what's her name? Her DM, Jasmine's DMs are going to be full. And Eris can go back to dating video vixens and being alone in his big house with his just tiny face. And that's it.
I actually agree with you guys, but I think I'm gonna be a little controversial. When the conference, yeah, this might start a fight. I don't know. We gonna see what happens. When Eris was talking, at first I was thinking like, all right, this is gonna be amicable. We know it's gonna be a no. They both said no. Just let it go. Just let it ride out. Then they kept talking, and I saw where Eris was going with it. I was like, no, don't do it. No, like for a whole minute, I saw it coming because in my mind, I saw where he was going with it. You know, the way she kind of been leaning over on him. I'm like, oh no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. He said it. This is what happened in my mind. I looked at the screen. First, they cut to Jasmine. Jasmine's looked over. Oops, she's triggered. Then they immediately cut to Dr. Pepper. I'm going to be honest with you. The way Dr. Pepper faces was looking, it looked like she didn't disagree with his statement. Because the only one of the experts that spoke up a little bit was Pastor Cal. He tried to, no, this is wrong immediately. Pepper just looked like she kind of thought the same thing. Now, I'm going to give maybe one possible reason why. Like I said, I don't really agree with it, but I'm going to give one possible reason why. Let's keep it real. The way Eris was acting, how he treated her, most people, this is going to be messed up for me to say, but I'm going to say it. Most people with some type of self-respect about themselves, somebody's phone going off. Oh, that's Kojo.
Sorry about that. My phone is going off, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah. Most people who has any type of self-respect about themselves would have never let Eris gotten away with how he treated Jasmine. Most women would have been went off on him. And that's somewhat what he was saying to her all season, like she doesn't speak up for herself. Because he knows he's been acting like trash to her. He know he has. And for the most part, she hasn't said a thing. But that just goes to her personality. She's not, as he said before, non-confrontational. But it was interesting. I know, Crystal, hang on. It was interesting when he did say that, Jasmine immediately went off. Like, oh, no, you pushed her too far. And he looked happy about it. He was like, oh, yeah, this is what I want from her. This is it. He likes that Jasmine. But the fact that he has to push her to do it, it was just wrong. I was just like, no, don't say this. Don't say this. But I have to say, did he have a slight point? I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like the moment he said it. I don't think he should have said it. But for argument's sake, did he have a point? Even slightly. I don't know.
I'm a go along with you on one point. Okay, it's very interesting you say that. He's one of those dads or one of those parents that will put you down and make you do better. He's like one of those people that let me poke at her to get her to fight or to get her to do better, and that's wrong. It
is.
But so that might have been him saying that made her fight a little bit.
It pushed her.
Right, but also. You can still have confidence and be passive aggressive. I will agree with you. There were some points this summer. I fell on my sword. I apologize. She was passive aggressive, and she even admitted, I am not the one. I let things go. So she definitely says she's passive aggressive, but you can still be passive aggressive and be confident. So yes. I disagree that there were times when she just let stuff go. When you said, somebody that has confidence in themselves would never let him talk about you the way he did. I just don't think that. I think that she gave up and she stopped caring. I think that I think that she's like, I know myself and I'm done with this. So she just stopped caring and she was out of it. She mentally, she checked out, but to a certain point. But I will agree with you that he is that even I think that was when Dr. Pia came by and he said, well, yeah, it turns me on when we fight. And see, to Jasmine, she's like, that sounds crazy. So I will agree with you on that point. But so I hear you on that. And honestly, that's really toxic. And that's really
Yes, he likes
Exactly.
toxic.
And also, guess what? Like, he keeps on talking about sex, right? Make up sex after the arguments and the toxicity. All right.
Mhm.
So I was thinking about this earlier, right? It seems as if Jasmine romanticizes about the relationship and Eris sexualizes the relationship, right? So she has an idea of what the relationship's going to look like, and it seems to be her images. You know, there's romance, there's kissing, there's cuddling, there's affection, there's all that stuff. Eris is more talking about, man, what position we going to do. And, you know, he talked about married sex and, you know, yeah, you can put my leg up here and do all this. Yeah, like, it's definitely a clash in their ideals of what they're actually looking for. And because he doesn't see that, what he's looking for in her, then it's automatically made him check out from very early. The only journey and progress that Eris made was actually with himself, to a degree, identifying that he has work to do. Because we have seen elements of him, you know, I won't say taking accountability, but realizing that he has some really glaring issues that he didn't know until he got into this process. He still isn't cut out for marriage, in my opinion, though.
Right. I have one controversial thing to say as well. You know, we said about Gina not liking men. I don't think Eris likes women. I think that he sexualizes women. I think that he has this like this anime view of women, but I don't think he likes them as and wants to get to know them or anything. I don't think that he likes women. I don't think that he's gay. I'm not saying that he's gay. I just don't think that he likes women. I don't think that he likes women.
No, so I would say,
and I think he noticed that he has work to do, as you just said. I don't think he likes women.
I think he likes women in the aspect that some men do, which is they like them for what they can get from them sexually.
He sees women
in
as
terms of getting to know them, go through the ups and downs, the minutiae of the relationship. He ain't got time for all of that because he knows.
Doesn't see them as actual people. He sees them as sexual objects. So that means he doesn't like women.
He sees women as he sees and speaks to women as objects. Whenever you see him talk about women, it's always in some type of objective or object form.
He's objectifying them.
Yes, he sees them as an object to either obtain or conquer.
I don't think he doesn't have to be gay, but he just doesn't like them. He doesn't like as people. He doesn't like women.
Because what he was alluding to when he talked about marriage sex, for example, is he thought that they would be humping every day, all day long.
That's what he ended with. Y'all, that was his last scene.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, there isn't. But
yeah, it doesn't go like that. If you're not attracted to the person, then how are you going to be you know, like, so that's why I think he kind of was like, yeah, you know, it's not going down. He's not attracted. Yeah, he's not attracted to her. So the humping that he expected is not going to take place. So, you know, he just checked out for that reason. Completely wrong reason to get married in the first place. You know, if you just want a partner who you're just going to be banging, you know, that's not marriage.
And I remember saying this early on. I said he doesn't like the fact that he's going to have to actually work at this relationship. He doesn't like the fact that he's going to, oh my God, I'm going to have to actually try. That's not what he wanted to do. He just wanted to have the sex and that's it. He doesn't actually like women.
Big Sean on the block.
Sean back in full effect, back in the house. Big Sean from up top.
No, that's Tony. That's Tony's from up top. I can't take
I would say from the bottom, but you know, listen, that's a little bit dangerous. Pause. I'm not to say that.
Pause.
My bad. I had to work on my pauses.
Man, Coach, don't play the pause game. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't play the pause game.
You are
Just don't
sync,
do it.
you know?
Just don't do it.
My bad, boys. But yeah, sure. We'll just talk about Aris and Jasmine. If you want to have your say, jump in, bro.
Yes. Did we get to my favorite couple? We got them already?
They're last, so you're lucky.
Woo! Good timing. Praise God. So Aris and Jasmine, I just so needed for her to choose herself. But you know what kind of threw me is, why did they make so many of the women go first? You know? And I don't know if that's an editing thing, but I'm just so glad, because I was nervous. I was like, she just might say yes. And I'm so glad she said no. I'm so glad she realized she deserved better. I know that we didn't, get a chance to talk about last week, but I could tell that there was something going on when she was open to that 740. She was getting open off the BMW. So she was already, realizing that there's other men out here that are interested in her. And, she made the right choice. So Aris, I don't know about him. Every time I hear him talk, he doesn't sound like somebody that's 39 going on 40 years old. So there's definitely, the brother needs to do some work, and they keep pushing them to discover what intimacy is. They found a small little bit of a friendship. They don't even have a good solid friendship, if you ask me, because it's very one-sided. But I'm so glad that Jasmine chose to say no, and she realized she deserved better. So that gives me hope for her future.
I was just gonna say about last week as well. It was quite interesting how they cut straight from her interaction with the guy talking about, like, I got my car outside X, Y, and Z. They cut straight to her going to the crib and Aris in the bed, and then she's telling him about the evening. So it didn't really show what happened. Did they walk outside the club, walk to the car, anything like that? Maybe we'll see that in some cut scenes, or talk about that at the reunion.
Please, she didn't even tell them about what actually happened. You're gonna have to rewatch that on the rewatch.
Okay, cool. Hey, if you guys have rinsed out Aris and Jasmine, no other things to say.
What dark arts are you up to back there? Because you just seem a little distracted. What are you up to?
You need not to worry about me, sir. You need not to worry about what I'm doing, okay?
That tells me all I need to know, because I listen.
You need not to worry, sir, okay? Dark Cats in action, So obviously talk about Shaq and Kirsten. Listen, Shaq and Kirsten, we didn't get a final say final point in terms of what they were going to choose, why they decided to mother freaking give us another episode for them to drop it like it was a cliffhanger. I don't know. Okay, but we are here now at the Shaq and Kirsten situation. Want to get you guys and ladies' thoughts as well on this couple. Maybe Sean should kick it open. I know you have various things to say on this, but this is Sean's favorite couple. So, Sean, open us up a little bit in a prayer of these two. What is it you want to say about these two?
Okay, now you muted yourself.
He said 2 seconds.
Okay.
Go do what you got to do, Sean. Go do. It's probably a DoorDash, knowing Sean. Go for it, Trey.
I really only got one. First of all, I do not understand. To your point, Coach, you said earlier, I do not understand why they couldn't just put his answer in this episode. Why are you dragging this out? This is ridiculous. I thought this year, I was like, all right, we're going to get it all in one episode. Ooh, this was up. I mean, they were doing good. And then they cut it off at Shaq. What is this? But I only have one question, and I really haven't gotten a good answer for this. And I'll wait. I really want Sean to answer this, but I'll wait for the answer. Somebody please explain to me, why did Kirsten say yes? Give me a tangible reason why she would say yes. Because I'm gonna be honest with you.
She said yes. I didn't even know she said yes. She said yes.
She said yes, bro.
He said yes.
Thank
bro.
you. She said yes. What? That threw me. I was like, nah, this not happening. No, this makes no sense. And you're gonna leave it to Shaq to be a no, but it sounds like he's gonna say no. It could be a fake out. He could say yes to this. It's probably a fake out. He probably would say yes, but it's looking like a no. And I'm be honest with you, it should be a no from both standpoints, from both of their sides. It should be a no. But she said yes. I went, what? What's happening here? This don't make no sense. And I still haven't got a good, tangible reason from anybody why she should have said yes. Not what she feel. Give me a tangible reason. Well, there's one. I think it had to do with her father, but I really think that's it. But besides that, for her own volition, why did she say yes? I don't understand. Somebody help me.
You asked, and I'm gonna answer. So I need y'all to knock this cognitive dissonance off. The woman actually started to like the man. I don't know what the hell. What more do y'all need her to do? Backflips and somersaults? She actually started to like him. Okay, and she was starting to really genuinely develop feelings for the guy. So I don't understand why you guys are still going back to 20,000 episodes ago and still holding her accountable to that. I've been saying this for the last 3 to 4 weeks, that she has started to develop a connection with him. And her saying yes is evidence of that. So y'all want to sit up here and call this woman the greatest actors of all actors. She is not. I'm sorry. She's not. But she liked the guy.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. And his confused, multicolored suit told us all we needed to know, because he is a ball of confusion. A ball of confusion, a ball of confliction, and a conundrum. So that's that. And then he's going to drag this out. And at the end of the day, he's probably going to say no. Juicy G, you're probably the only person in the galactic solar system that liked that suit that Shaq was wearing. Juicy G, go away from us with that foolishness. That suit was horrible. Horrible. I'm sorry, it was horrible. And the poor woman, I feel bad for her, because she had so many hoops to jump through and so many things. Everything was oh, why now? Why now? Whine. Complain. Why am I just now meeting your dad? This is why you're just meeting the dad, because you're annoying. All he did was complain and whine. And old girl, she gave him a chance. Now, I'm not saying she's perfect.
You're muted, bro.
My bad. So, yeah. At the end of the day, I hope he says no, so she can be free of the foolishness, and she can move on. My last point, and I just want to revisit this. Did you see when they was out with the fellas? I mean, they was out with the girls, and those fellas approached them. And she said, I just want to be home and be with my husband. So you just think she's just capping? You could see her body language. You could see her energy. She was disinterested. You know what I mean? And a couple of the other ladies were not. So it wasn't like she was going to be judged. They were all, a couple of them, Nicole, being the spokesperson. You know, she had one toe in and one toe out, but she was kind of interested in the attention. And we all know Jasmine was. So to me, signs that she really started to like the guy. That's it.
So I'll admit, Kirsten started to grow on me in the last 2 episodes. First of all, because of what happened in the club, she shut that down very quickly and disassociated from all the shenanigans that were taking place, right? And I saw their interaction this episode when they were on the bed together before they left to go their separate ways to make their decision. Man, those petty kisses and the affection that was there and the little playful kisses and everything, I was like, wow. So where was this before? This is what I was expecting to see from them early on. But because she spent, so it's been 2 months. It's been 20 episodes our time. So you're talking at least 12 episodes where she was not feeling him. And at the time when she did start to feel him, it was partly because he was pulling away, because he had kind of began to throw in the towel and think that he wasn't going to get anywhere with her. He kept reminding her also, I think he said it twice, if it's still like this by decision day, then I'm saying no. So that was weighing on her mind too. And then I also took from the father situation about him wanting to meet her father, I kind of took it like he hasn't had a father figure in his adult life like that, right? His father's not around. His father passed away or whatever, right? But so I think he was trying to see who her father is, get to know him, build a relationship with him to some degree to get that father energy, if that makes sense. Even though it's not his dad, but it's his father-in-law. So just similar to how Nicole's father is with Chris. They've met, they've had conversations, and the father will give him tips, give him pointers. Yeah, hang in there. You know, she may be a handful sometimes, but stick it up. Like that type of vibe, right? And I think Shaq was kind of looking to meet her dad, not just to see, I don't think it was about seeing how her relationship is with her dad. I think it was so he could build a relationship with the dad, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I was also looking at when they sat down with the therapist, with Pastor Cal and the doctor, I was genuinely confused about what he's going to say, because looking at his face as he was talking, he said a lot of good things. She said yes, despite the suit he was wearing. She still said yes, right? And so I believe she isn't that superficial, because that suit was horrible. You know, he should go and burn it afterwards. But the way his face was, I was like, you're building this up so much. There's no way you're going to say no after building up like that. He didn't seem like he had a bone to pick with her. He didn't seem like, you know what, I've reached the point where it's over. No, he was smiling. And I don't think he's that callous to let her say yes and then him not go through with it, you know? So I actually think there is a chance, despite everything I've been saying up until this point, I think there is a chance that Shaq says yes and they actually do make a couple. Crazy.
I'm gonna start and say I knew they were gonna leave this as a cliffhanger. This show was so boring that I was looking at the time and I said they are gonna leave his answer to next week, and they're the only couple that's on the fence. They step together, they get along, sometimes they don't get along. Oh, we can have them to the end. I was like, you guys are really pissing us off because this is ridiculous. And also what JR just said, that there all of these pregnant pauses. I think the producers coached him a little bit. Look at her, look away, dude. We're gonna leave this as a cliffhanger to next week. This suit, I tried. I was like, okay, wait. If the pants, wait, and I kept looking. I said, no, no, Shaq, you're wrong. You're just wrong for that. He could have, and I know he makes ties. He could picked one solid color and then a creative tie. He didn't have to do that to that suit. He did not have to do that. Yeah, because I'm all for doing, be creative, show your personality. But no, that was wrong. Because I kept looking and I was like, I kind of like it. No, nope, not gonna do it. I do agree with JR that because she said yes, I think he's been on the fence. I think that he was like, but he has been very decisive and said, if we are not getting along, if all of these different ups and downs in our relationship, I'm going to say no. I appreciate him saying that. I appreciate him letting her know, hey, if this is the way this is going to go, I'm going to say no. So that projected her, or that let her know, ooh, I need to say yes then. I'm sorry. She may have started to like him, but she ain't there. She ain't there yet. She's not there. And she knows it. And she knows it. I think she's a big ball of confusion. I'm sorry. Shaq is a big ball of confusion. I will agree with you. Shaq is not perfect. Shaq's got a lot of issues, but she is a big ball of confusion herself. And she likes to keep somebody confused. She likes to keep Shaq on the leash a little bit, or on the rope, whatever you want to call it. But she likes to keep him there and say, well, what about this? Well, I don't know. Well, I like him now. I don't like him. And well, I don't like bald heads. Like she kept saying, strike one, strike two. It's like it's like she wanted him to want her. You had that. You wanted this man to beg and plead. You wanted him to be patient. You wanted to give yourself this idea of being this classy woman, and I don't do this, I don't do that. And now you let it all out that that's the type of woman you are, and now you like him. So I think that she's as well a big ball of confusion. So they'll probably say yes on decision day, and then when we see the reunion, there's somebody else. There's somewhere else. They're not together. That's what I'm thinking. I agree with JR that especially because she said yes. Now he's like, I don't see him leaving her out there. I just don't see him leaving her out there hanging and saying no. Just his personality. I could be wrong, but I just don't see it. I knew they were going to leave this as a cliffhanger though. I was like, y'all wrong for this. That's it for now.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with Shaq's Harvey Dent suit. It's just not our style. That's all. That's all it is. It just don't work for us. He probably sewed it together himself. It's all good. That takes skill. I'm actually impressed. All right, put together a suit, bro. I ain't crazy about the colors, but
he definitely designed that suit. That's his design.
That's what's up. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I still ain't heard a good tangible reason why she should have said yes. Oh, she like him now? I'm gonna be honest, I don't believe it. I think it's all cap. It's almost given like she only likes him because her family or her daddy likes him. So now she feels like she gotta like him. That's what it feels like to me. She needed permission from everybody else. Because in the beginning, she didn't like him. Her family did. Her cousins have oh, girl, he fine, girl, he cool. Yeah. She wasn't feeling him. For like 3-4 weeks, wasn't feeling him. Called this man, basically said he was a man to her. What, we forgot this? Do you respect him as a man? No. What?
Where you getting the word respect from, Trey? Don't go off on the Treyism. She didn't say respect. She said, do you think he's masculine?
we kind of equate those two together.
No,
I'm sorry, Coach.
Trey,
If I say you're not masculine, what am I telling?
Pastor mode. You just running.
Yeah, he just ran
And
clean
he
off.
just ran himself right out the chat. Look, I don't know what I swear y'all have cognitive dissonance. Y'all want to disbelieve that she did not care for this guy so much that you're just gonna create narratives. Oh, so now because her pappy liked him, now she's willing to say yes and ruin the rest of her life for somebody that she don't want because her daddy like him. I mean, come on, people.
It's called keeping up appearances, though. You know,
okay,
it could be
so when does it end? Like, guys, come on. When can we just, it's not about being right. I don't need to be right. I don't need to be wrong. It's just like at a certain point, what are you looking for? What do you need the woman to do in order for you to remotely believe it? Or is it that you just are so entrenched in just wanting to believe that she does not care for this guy at all, that you just are unwilling to accept the fact that she might not like him. I mean, that she might like him. Like it just can't be. It can't be. No, she's lying. No, she's making this up. Oh no, there's some big check at the end. So now she's waiting for some big check. That's gonna get her closer to her $2.9 million house. Come on, guys.
Listen,
I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, no, I listen, Sean. I gave her kudos. I said in the last few weeks, she's actually won me over a bit. I was surprised she said yes, but also, I'm not sure at this point if the attraction is to the level where I completely believe that she's feeling him like that. Right? That's what I'm saying. It came so late in the day for her to have this, for the switch to go off, for the light bulb to turn on and be like, oh, wait, there's only 3-4. In fact, now there's 21 episodes. Yeah, there's like 10 weeks till decision day. Maybe I need to change some things. Like, at the end of the day, I'm going to take it for what it is. I think she is attracted to him. Like I said, their little playful stuff that they were doing this episode, I was like, where has this been? Like, this is what I kind of thought you two would have been doing if you were feeling each other. There would have been plenty of that stuff going on, but it just seemed more like friends, more like buddies, more like a Clint and Gina vibe for a long time. So that's why, for a long time, I wasn't convinced. But like I said, in the last couple of episodes, I must admit, Kirsten, I do believe Kirsten has grown in her attraction to him. He's still the same dude that she was like, strike one, he's bald. Strike two, he's younger than me. Strike three, he better be getting in the bedroom. That was her 3 strikes from that outset.
All 3. How many of them 3 strikes did? We want to talk about it. All them 3 strikes was out, and she still said yes. So there was some type of connection.
And the suit,
Appearances.
Trey, I can't even engage in conversation.
No, but the thing is, so all that proved to me is she overcame the aesthetic. She overcame the visual, not being attracted to the visual. She, like, his personality grew on her, right?
Yeah.
And that's what she was. That's what she's working with right now, right? She said yes based on his personality, not the fact. So we've had conversations, and you and Coach have had conversations many times. If you're not feeling me, don't choose me. If you're not attracted to me, don't choose me, right? Because we know as men, we want to have some level of, like, even though, yes, traditionally, we have to do more of the pursuing or initiate stuff, but we also want that reciprocation in some respect, maybe even if it's not as much. But just something to say, right, you're feeling me, and then we can go from there. But one of the worst things you can do is be in that relationship dynamic and your partner isn't feeling you and you're feeling them. Like I was saying before you came on, Kirsten is definitely an attractive lady. And for Shaq to have liked her as much as he did initially, and to know he can't touch, he can't joke, he can't be himself around her. She's always trying to critique things for the first few weeks. You know, that must have been hard to wake up every day next to her and have to be hands off and give her the grace and all of that. Even though I respect him for it, I'm just saying it must have been challenging. So by the time he starts to realize, you know, this might not be going anywhere, you know, like he started to check out. And Miss Ione, even if he didn't like her like what you think, he liked her more than she liked him. That's the point. So if we're going to give Shaq smoke, then we also have to realize that the roles were reversed for a long time. She was not feeling him. And she wasn't convincing nobody otherwise. She pointed them out. That's all we're saying. So I concede, Sean.
I'll take it. I'll take the first
Oh,
2 minutes
yeah.
of what you said. And I'll take that as a win is a win. Everything else I can concede to. So I'll just you get no pushback from me. I see we have a beautiful
be honest.
young lady that joined the panel. Hello, Camille.
Welcome, Camille.
Welcome, Camille.
Welcome.
What is
Hi, hi everyone.
jumping for us, Camille?
Okay, so I've been watching the panel all season, and I respect everyone's opinion. I know we're talking about Shaq and Kirsten right now. I must say, I totally, as far as an overall synopsis of the dynamics between Shaq and Kirsten, I totally resonate more so with a lot of Sean's opinions about how that dynamic breaks down. And I have to say too that I just felt like Kirsten got a lot of smoke from the very beginning. She got a lot of smoke about the attraction piece. And that was funny to me because she never out and out came to Shaq and said, "I'm not attracted to you." That was just her initial impression at the altar, but I don't recall her ever going to Shaq and saying, "I'm not attracted to you," like in the way that Aris did Jasmine. He was very blunt and almost rude with it. And I'm just trying to see where the smoke for Kirsten was from the very beginning. But that aside, coming to the end, right? I really do feel like if you look at Kirsten's behavior throughout, she was always affectionate with Shaq. She was always sitting near him. She was always rubbing his head. She was always holding his hand. She was never standoffish in the way that Clint, I can't remember, Gina was with Clint. Gina was very standoffish. She didn't give Clint the opportunity after that conversation in Jamaica about the attraction piece and athleticism and ginger hair and all that. She never gave Clint the time of day. She didn't show any she didn't make any forward movement toward him. Whereas Kirsten, even though she may have her impression of Shaq initially was, I'm not immediately drawn to him, she gave him opportunity, she gave him space. So when we're coming down to the end of this, and she the whole time has been invested in what's been happening, for us to get to the end and then say, well, her response, her choice was not genuine, I just don't get that. I don't get that piece. She never struck me as disingenuous. She struck me as a person who was more reserved and wasn't immediately impressed with Shaq, which, to be honest, as time progressed, I see why she wasn't impressed with him, for a myriad of reasons. Shaq is a very nice guy, but I can tell he's emotionally needy. And that doesn't make a woman feel safe. It doesn't make her feel attractive. It doesn't make her feel comfortable because she constantly has to be in the place of reassurance and walking on emotional eggshells and that kind of thing. So if I was actually rooting for Kirsten to say no, but I do believe she's developed an attraction to him and she sees some potential there. And she's also made some emotional investments because she strikes me as the person who kind of lays back in the cut and she does not make rash decisions. She takes her time. So for her to open up with him at the end, I feel like that was very, I feel like was the bad decision. I feel like she should have said no. I was pleading for her to say no, but I see why she said yes. And I think Shaq actually wants to say no. He might, to save face, say yes, but I think he wants to say no.
I have a quick question. So obviously you expressed your disappointment in Kirsten saying yes. Why do you think she said yes? Like, because it isn't the attraction piece, right? And if it is for the personality aspect, is that a legitimate reason to commit to what could potentially be a long-term marriage if it's, if they stay together?
I think Kirsten is attracted to him, but I really do feel like guys they really see attraction just from their viewpoint. They don't get how women view attraction. And it's totally different than how men view attraction. And this is just me speaking personally, but a man can be attractive or become attractive to you for a myriad of other things outside your initial physical attraction to him. Whereas I feel like men, if they're not physically attracted to you, it's kind of like a no-go from the beginning. It's like an all-in-one kind of, I assess you, I'm attracted to you or not attracted to you for whatever reasons. I feel like women, we develop attraction based on a myriad of other different aspects of a man. And that can grow over time to where we are genuinely attracted. Now, that is different from actually being repulsed by a person. If I'm repulsed by you, if a woman is repulsed by a man initially, I don't think that ever grows into something beyond just respect or friendship. But I do feel like Kirsten did grow to perfection and attraction to Shaq. So I think she weighed a lot of other different aspects of the relationship. And I think that's the reason why she said yes. Number one, I think she's a person that goes in once she decides to go in, and she doesn't want to not admit defeat. That's the wrong terminology. But I think she's a go-getter. She's a winner. So if she's invested in something, she wants to see it out to the end. And I think she became invested in the relationship. And I think she sees some type of potential there in Shaq and the ability to grow. And I think that's why she said yes. I don't think it was a good decision, but I think that's why she said yes, was because of those factors.
So I understand your point. The problem is, and this is a lesson, all right, not to you personally or anything, but when you meet someone, right, be careful how you critique them, because if you're critiquing things that they cannot change, i.e. what she said, he's bald, that's the first strike. Second strike, he's younger than me, right? And you're right, she didn't say that directly to him, and that's kind of even worse because she said it to her friends and family first, and she said it to the experts, but she didn't say it directly to him. So I think one of the reasons why I was like, Kirsten, that's not how you start this, because you're calling out flaws that he cannot change. And even if you do grow to like him, if those issues that you had are still there, he hasn't grown an afro, he ain't grown hair, he's still the same bald guy. Attraction wise, physically wise, he's still him. The age thing, he can't change. So she automatically thought he would be more immature. So I think some things are best kept in your mind as thoughts rather than expressing them, because sometimes they can come back to bite you in that way. And for us men, yes, we do view attraction differently to women. We're supposed to, because we're different. But we also take the physical criticisms differently as well. All right. We are realists, but at the same time, we don't expect the lady that we're with, or we are, Shaq definitely thought he got a great catch when he saw her, and he probably has, but he expressed how he felt about her for quite a while throughout the season. And all she had to comment initially was he had a nice suit. When they were by the lake and he asked her, so what are the things you like about me? We still don't know, because she couldn't answer. So yes, I agree. We see things differently in terms of men and women, the good stuff we go for in relationships. But, just like Gina did with Clint when she said, you're ginger and I don't typically go for gingers. That's exactly what Kirsten did by saying, he has no hair and he's short. Sorry, he's younger than her. It's the same thing. It just wasn't done in such a callous way, but it's like you're putting it out there already, and it's a very difficult hurdle to overcome as a guy, because the odds are against us straight away as soon as you make those criticisms.
I'm going to go, and then I'm going to let Ludwin go. So I'm going to be really quick, excuse me. Thank you for your thoughts. I agree with you. We as women see attraction very differently, and attraction can grow. I've definitely fallen in love with somebody that I was not immediately attracted to, but he was hilarious. The other personality traits came through, and the attraction grew around that. So men and women do grow an attraction differently. But I remember, and I could be wrong, if someone remembers the exact episode, he didn't say it like Eris said it. It didn't call her a 4 or 5, and he wasn't as crass. And the way he said it, the way she said it might have been different, but she definitely said, I did not want a bald man. She definitely said, I'm not attracted to you like that. She definitely said certain things that let him know my wife does not like me. My wife, and that's why he pulled all the way back, and he's like, how patient am I supposed to be? Yes, she is somebody that wanted him to go. She wanted to go very slow, and she wanted to go, and she is somebody that takes her time. I agree with you on that, but they also have 2 months, and he's like, how patient should I be? How am I supposed to navigate this? She definitely said to him, I'm not attracted to you like that. She definitely said, I did not want a bald man. She criticized the way he talked to her. She criticized different things about his personality. So to him, she's like, she's not attracted to me physically. She's not attracted to my personality. So where am I supposed to go from here? So that's those things. That's how she started. And as JR was saying, be careful how you start something, and then you're going to flip the script on me. Excuse me. So that's why we criticize that in the beginning. Yes, she may grow into it. And I will agree with you. And this is my last point. I was hoping she would say no too. But now that she has said yes, that means I don't see him saying no. But hey, if he does, great. But I was hoping that she would say no. So that's all I've got to say for now. Thank you. Hey, Ludwin.
Is it my turn? Yay! What up, y'all? I ain't seen y'all in 6-7 weeks. I've been busy. Okay, so we're talking about Shaq and Kirsten. I wish I was here from the beginning, but I was celebrating Haitian Flag Day. Woohoo! Ew. But if this man says no, he will regret the opportunity to be with a baddie for the rest of his life. Because how dare he have the attitude of someone who can do better than Kirsten? You know what? He deserves Jasmine. That's what he deserves. Because how dare he act like he can get better than Kirsten? You had to be on a reality TV show to be matched with somebody who looked like Kirsten. Because in your regular life, I bet you don't date a Kirsten in real life. And you know what I've learned as of recently for the past 2 years? Sometimes a man who don't like you will try to bring you down to a peg because you too pretty, and it will make you feel like so tiny. They don't like you. They will try to find any type of ways to bring you down. The man was complaining about coming to see you at a work function. Bro, do we remember if he ever took her on a date the whole show? An actual date? We have Clintons, who went out on dates. Nicole and what's his face went on multiple dates. I don't remember any date this man took her to like that. So if he says no on Decision Net, which gives me the vibes that he do based on the previews from the next two episodes supposed to be coming on, talking about I made a decision from the heart. I spoke from the heart. Well, your heart gonna tell you you're gonna miss out because you had a gym. And are we talking about the same man who grow plants, who make bow ties at the crib? That man who got 10,000 plus in college debt, who got no money like that. That man being matched with a realtor who got mad because she said, "You buying me a house." He was like offended. Me buying you a house? With what money? Bruh. Ain't no money. Bruh. I am broke. I have debt. I have student loan debt. What house? You mean this apartment that I got all these plants? Ain't no babies anytime soon. These are my kids. These plants are my kids. I water them because they're my kids. Okay? I took it to the plant shop because I got nothing better to do. I'm gonna teach you about plants. I know nothing about romance. I threw whipped cream in your mouth to kiss you because I'm lame. I wrap around ropes around you to bring you close to me because I'm lame. Ain't no romance.
You like them ropes, Lubin.
No, I don't. If you need to grab me, bring me closer to you. You don't need no extra loop-de-loop to do that. Got me like doing scavenger hunt for stuff in the washing machine. This the same man? The washing machine man? Is this your king? Ropes in the washing machine? This is your king.
I agree with you on the washing machine, though. I said, why'd you show her to the washing machine? I agree with you on that one. That was stupid.
You can't take me to the H, but you want to take me to the washing machine? Make it make sense. He deserves a Jasmine, real cool, down to earth chick, because he ain't got no money for no Kirsten. Okay? She'll take whatever, as long as you find me attractive. Did you see that little clip of her going on a date and the man said she found her attractive and then she gonna kiss him? Like a true pick-me? Come on. If you find her attractive, she gonna take me. Take me, please. I wanna be your girlfriend. Oh. You like me? You find me attractive? I am your girlfriend now. Take me on a date. Give me some cookies. Give me some penis. If you find me attractive, I will give you some coochie. As long as you find me attractive, I will be your girlfriend. Ha! Ha! Is this your okay? Shaq Will. I don't know his last name, but Shaq Will, that's your king. He gonna regret this. I swear to God. If next week comes on and he said no to Kirsten, because I could tell he probably said no because Kirsten was drinking with Nicole saying, take a shot to the next life. It's giving single. It's giving I'm out with my homegirls and we drinking it up because I'm newly divorced and I'm outside. That's what it's giving. That little clip where she outside with Nicole, it's giving I'm outside because I'm divorced, I'm single, I'm ready to mingle. That's it.
Whew. Listen, you unloaded a full clip. I just wanted to point out, listen, I don't know. Like, he didn't do a whole lot. I know JR was mentioning that, he really liked her, but I didn't see a whole lot of effort on his end at any point to really woo her. I don't know if you remember, but the camera showed us some footage of him walking through the door, her asking him if he wants some dinner. He's mumbling at her, barely talking to her. Remember when he went on his little business trip? Brother is slamming down laptops when she's trying to blow him kisses. So yeah, Shaq has definitely got the petty bug. He's a little, I don't think he's emotionally intelligent. I think he's great at his job and great at what he does, but he has to learn how to transfer some of the good skills that he has at work into relationships. And I'm not saying Kirsten, she definitely has some work to do in relationships, better communicating, right? Letting her walls and her guards down. We saw that in her resistance to him meeting her family. And how long it did take for her to do so. So she's definitely got walls up, and I think that's work that she has to do for sure. If she wants to be in a serious relationship, better at communicating, better at not jumping to conclusions and things like that. But this guy has not been Prince Charming, and did he get rejected in the beginning? But yeah, this is Married at First Sight. JR, we're not talking about you and me. We're not talking about the traditional dating process and leading up to marriage. This is a show where you meet the person for the first time. And there's been a couple that do not like each other, or there's not attraction on one and on the other. And sometimes they grow from it. Listen, could she have done a better job and being less vocal, being more sensitive to his feelings? Of course. I'm not going to argue that. But what I will say, it's a show, and this is what happens. This is what happens when you throw two people together in a social experiment who've never laid eyes on each other. And if you want to really be mad at anybody, don't be mad at Kirsten, be mad at the experts. She said she don't like bald dudes, and they threw her up against with somebody that's bald. So look, what do you want her to do? I love you. It's great. No, she doesn't. She typically doesn't like bald guys. But guess what? She gave it a shot. And
Eventually.
And who cares, JR? Like, what the hell? Is she supposed to
No,
flip a switch 30?
That's the whole point.
Yeah,
the point
JR,
is
like,
when he was feeling.
we have to also be realistic. right? If you don't like women that are X, and then they give you exactly what you don't ask for, you're not going to turn a corner in 30 seconds and all of a sudden be like, woohoo, I love whatever is the exact opposite of what I asked for and what my type is. That is not normal. It's not normal for people to do that, right? It's not right. So this is the part that you can't say because she didn't like him that he's justified in acting the way he did. No, you as a man and everybody else in a relationship is responsible for the way that you carry yourself. Now, if you are offended or dislike the fact that she is not attracted, then you can make a choice to say, hey, listen, if you don't like me, if I'm not your type, cue up Fantasia. If you don't want me, then don't talk to me, right? We can all do that. But if you choose to stay in the process, you don't get to stay in the process and be petty and drive somebody nuts and, continuously make them pay for what they said 2 weeks ago. You have to move on. Those things do not bode well in relationships. And that's what I mean. He has to learn how to fare through challenges in a relationship. Because if you keep holding on to the past, you're never going to move forward.
I agree with you, but that even furthers my point. If there was such a hurdle to get over for the first 12 episodes out of goodness knows how many where we're at right now, then saying yes doesn't make sense to me, because it took you so long to find that attraction. Then it took you so long to feel comfortable inviting him around your family. He missed that barbecue. He wasn't there. And so long for him to meet the father. So I don't think they were working to the same timescales. He liked her initially. She wasn't feeling him. When she did start to feel him, he was already at the point where I'm getting the hint now. It's just not going to work. So when he started saying, you know what, if it stays like this by decision day, then I'm going to say no. That's what he said to her twice. That's what shifted her into gear and start to maybe analyze, wait, I'm in this process, and if I don't at least give it a try, then I'm going home without what I came here for. That's what spurred her into action. It wasn't this miraculous attraction that grew. He's the same guy that grows the plants, like Ludwig said. He's the same guy that has the corny jokes that she didn't like. He's the same guy that was mansplaining when he explains things. All of these things are the same dude. So on the one hand, you're saying the process is too short for her to have invested so early and grown into attraction. But on the other hand, like he should continue to pursue her even when she's not feeling him. We all know that that's not going to work out well. At some point, you have to realize the relationship dynamic. Snap out that dream. Yes, you thought she was fine as hell when you first saw her. You said she was everything that you were looking for. But when it wasn't being reciprocated in that way, it was like pulling teeth, trying to get to know her. And she started trying to make you change yourself to try and acquiesce to what she was looking for. Why say yes after all of that if he's not the guy that you want to be with? But like I said, she did win me over in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I like the interaction, the kissy, huggy, touchy stuff that they did briefly on this episode. I just wanted to see more of that in order for me to be convinced that their relationship has more foundation.
And you bring up a good point, JR, because did you see, and I wish Kojo had clips, because when they were laying in the bed talking, she was expressing to him how much she's going to miss him, and he was very nonchalant. And when they went to hug by that door, and his hand was like on the lower small of her back, barely touching her, and she's like got her arms wrapped around him when they were leaving the night before decision day. So she's just then you know what? If she's that good of an actress, I need her to get it. Somebody needs to be watching, and put her on a show, because she's definitely good at that, and he was very lackluster. The hand was barely touching her lower back. She had all of that up against me. She would be pregnant at decision day. There would be that's it. We're done.
No, we're done, Sean.
Right in the hallway. That's
listen. I mean, I do hear what you're saying. I mean, listen, he could be a bit more. Listen, I think he's a bit awkward. Personally, I think he is a bit awkward, right? Because we had a whole joke about it, the whipped cream situation. That was a bit mad. He's just not a smooth operator. Okay, when it comes to Kirsten, I think that's just in general. He's not a smooth operator, right? And so I think that plays a part in their interaction. I think he maybe she doesn't make him feel all that comfortable, and that's not necessarily to say that's her fault. It's more to say maybe he just doesn't feel as comfortable to fully let all to let all his inhibitions go with her, right? So that also plays a part, right? And then I just think to myself, this whole conversation started with you telling me you ain't attracted to me. Then you barred me. Now let's not forget, because this is where I can't forgive. You can't bar me in public in front of everybody saying, I don't find you attractive, and rub my head like I'm the genie in the bottle. You want to rub me the right way. No, you're not going to do that to me, right? So at that point, I'm going to have problems. And then when you come and tell me that you have a problem with my humor, I'm telling you now, I wouldn't have made it 8 weeks. Personally, I wouldn't have made it 8 weeks. I'm gonna get my check though. So I'm gonna do the 8 weeks. I'm gonna get my check, and I'm gonna do the extra 3 or 4 episodes they're telling me I gotta do, and I'm gonna do it. But I'm gonna tell you no on decision day, personally, right? I can't trust anything you say after. I don't care how touchy, how feely. I don't care if you put the pom pom on me after. I will not trust a word you said to me after that, because you've barred me in public. This is not something you said to me behind the scenes. It's not behind the scenes. You unprovoked told me. Because her thing was unprovoked, because it was because of what Clint was said to Thingy that she came out and said, well, I don't really find him attractive, and rubbed his bald head in front of everybody. Like, am I a dickhead? Because clearly I'm a dickhead if you're doing that to me. You understand? I'm definitely a dickhead. And then you make a joke. I'm not joke, what do you want to call it, about a £2.9 million house. Now I'm feeling like I'm going to be used. Because you know damn well the way you put that across, won't know, like we can do this. So when you now when you change your tune, like later on, like, oh no, I meant as a joke, I meant us to do 2.9 million, us to buy this house together. Of course, I don't mean that you need to get a 2.9 million house, but you were saying it seriously in the house to me. So I'm suddenly meant to realize you're joking now. So let's not pretend as if we're gonna suddenly be believing her. I don't care how thick her thighs are and how thick her buns are. I'm not a dickhead for nobody. I'm so sorry. I don't care how fine you are. It makes no difference to me, because I need to trust you if I'm going to marry you and say yes and continue past the 8 weeks. Remember, I'm also on a TV show, so I'm now even thinking, do you want me just for the TV show? I'm now thinking you're just saying yes for the situation because it looks good on you. For me personally, I wouldn't have gone past 8 weeks. There's nothing she could have done. After you rubbed my head and my bar led and said those things, embarrassed me in front of everybody, then did the house thing too, bro, there ain't no comeback after that, right? And we are yet to see her come out and say to come and say something different. Has she said he's fine? I don't remember him saying he's fine. I don't remember her coming out saying he's a good looking. I remember she said he's handsome. I remember her saying he's handsome, which is the code word for nigga, you ugly. But you handsome. We know that. What you know. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. You know, bro. No. Listen.
handsome.
After you've called me ugly, after you said I'm not attracted to
How do you
me,
go from ugly to handsome?
handsome is not a compliment. After you've gone from unattractive to handsome, it's not a compliment. Because I could have been handsome and you might not have been attracted to me. You know that already, right? So if she said that from the beginning, then I would understand what you're saying. But you go from unattractive to handsome, you know exactly what that means. You're still ugly, but to me, you're like, okay. To me, I can work with it. Come on now, let's not lie. You know what I'm saying? So I hear it.
When
Come
she
on,
said
Royals.
handsome, that was code for perfectly passable. That's what she was saying. She was not saying he's sexy. He went from I'm not attracted to him to he's handsome. That's he's perfectly passable.
Exactly. And what physically changed about his appearance to make that transition from ugly to handsome? Nothing. It's the same brother. The
And
same
she did not
features
rub
that
his
you
head the
like
sexy
is what
way.
you're
I know
talking
how to
about.
rub a bald head, and that was not it.
So that's why the smoke's there.
When you
because-
are initially attracted to someone, that's when you're going to do that. She was not at first, but as all the ladies have told us, you know, hey, you guys can grow an attraction. So maybe as a man, it's not. It probably ain't going to happen for me, and we see that very clearly with Aris, right? He said he wasn't attracted from the beginning, and it stayed consistent through the end. He went through a whole lot of leaps and bounds, and nothing ever happened. It didn't change, and he made sure that his decision was what it was, right? For her, she changed, you know? And nobody says she has to find him to be the most endearing person in the world. She does not. You know, look, when you're matched with somebody that you've never seen before, it's an untraditional process. So again, I'm not denying the fact that, look, it's a tough pill to swallow for somebody to tell you that they're not attracted to you. But when you put yourself on a Mafs show, Kojo, you got to be open to the process. You got to be open that person that sits across from you might not find you attractive. It might be a journey. And some people develop and evolve. Every one of these couples, somebody said they initially weren't attracted to the person. Hell, you know, Chris even got run up and done up because he said that Nicole was thick. They moved on. She moved on. You know, it's like sometimes we gotta build.
He didn't.
Yeah, but he danced around it. Whatever it was, there was some
usual type is not something unattractive.
Huh?
Usual type.
Usual type is not the same as unattractive.
She's thicker than what I normally date.
That doesn't mean unattractive.
It's preference. That's code for she's a bigger gal than I'm normally with, which means that's not what he usually likes.
But that doesn't mean it's a problem.
Okay.
That doesn't mean it's a problem with attraction.
Mean it's unattractive. Oh, yeah, that doesn't mean that. This means it's preferential.
You guys can use code. You can use code when it's convenient for you. And then when it's not, you want to be very much into semantics. So just let me know which one we gonna roll with. All I'm saying is, and I'm not saying it's not a tough pill to swallow. I get it, but at some point we gotta build a bridge and we gotta get over it. Because if the girl is showing you 2 and 3 weeks later that she is making inroads to, you know, make a way to get to know you better and to enjoy you. She's blowing you kisses over the phone. She's giving you hugs. She's giving you chances. She's opening up to you. She's sitting on his lap. When he's throwing temper tantrums and walking out the door, she's following up behind him. She is trying to do things that show that she wants to do the things that he wants her to do. So I just got to say, like, at a certain point, we got to realize, like, she made an effort. Was it enough? Doesn't look that way. What enough for Shaq? So, hey, I get it. But I think she should have said no, and I think he needs to say no because they don't really have a lot of chemistry. There's not a lot of chemistry. And again, I'm going to go back to the suit. We can debate whether it's Gordon Gartrell, Joker, or any other Marvel person that we want to make. But my point was not about the attractiveness of the suit, because I'm talking about all the colors. When somebody wears all those colors and you got half there, half that shows somebody that's a little indecisive. You got a lot going on. You got about 5 different colors going on in the color wheel. And that to me shows that he was all over the place and very conflicted. And we saw a lot of that show up in the relationship because we didn't see a whole lot of effort from him towards her either.
Thank you, Sean. This kind of proves my reasoning. The same for asking the original question. Can anybody give me a tangible reason why she should say yes? Because it all seems performative to me for her saying yes. You pretty much have agreed they both should say no for a myriad of reasons. But she said yes. Why? No one can still answer that question for me. Because we all think the same thing. It should have been a no. It should have been a no. For the both of you. Because what you said weeks ago, we keep going back and forth about this. But you said this weeks ago, and I agree with you. They have both done the bare minimum to one another when it comes to this relationship. Bare minimum. It hasn't been no extra for neither side.
People answered your question in the chat. It says
What
because
question?
she likes marriage. She likes the idea of being married. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, after a while of, okay, so we got this song in my culture called habitude, which means habits, right? Once you start to form a certain habit with certain people, you want to keep them around to keep the same habits going. Not necessarily like you in love with them, but it's the idea of having somebody around. Because after what, like, how long it takes 21 days to build a new habit. So it probably got to the point where she got used to the idea of being married. Because when they were out and they met all them guys, she was so off. She's like, I'm married. I got a husband. My husband this. My husband that. Even though he ain't worth a damn, but my husband this. My husband that. You know, she probably liked the idea of being a wife, but she's the wife of the wrong person, right? So I could see that could be the reason that she said yes. However, it's a dumb reason to say yes. He ain't worth a damn for her in a long run. Because the same
Thank you,
way
Luke.
these YouTube talking points be like, don't get with a woman with a master's degree. You need to get with somebody who ain't got nothing. Because they're thinking about all the debt the woman got that they don't want. And Shaq got a whole lot of debt that nobody should want. He can't afford nothing for the next 15 years. Honestly. He got to pay that master's off. But I don't want to go in on Shaq. I want to talk about the comment Kojo made about calling a man handsome is equivalent to that man being ugly. I don't believe in that. If I call you handsome, I actually find you fine. That means you got the chisel, the face, and you look fine. So I'm gonna call you handsome because that's the right term to call a man that has that masculine face. You're like, damn, that man handsome. But if I say you alright, that means you ugly. It could be a Florida thing. But I say he alright, he cool, he straight, he cool. That means I might not sleep with you, but you still cool for a man. You look like a man, so I'm gonna say you alright. But to call you handsome, I don't believe that's super equivalent to being ugly. I don't believe in that, Kojo. I rebuke that term. Okay. A lot of men are handsome because they actually are good looking. Okay.
Yes. If
Now,
you immediately see them. We're talking about someone who didn't immediately see someone and said they're handsome. That was not her first instinct. If you say it first instinct to say somebody, oh, he's handsome, yes, we'd agree with you and say, okay, yeah, she thinks he's handsome, thinks he's good looking.
but Kojo,
No, when she saw him, she rubbed up his head and said, yeah, I'm unattracted to you. So then to go to handsome after, I'm like, yeah, baby, we know what that means.
Kojo,
So we're not talking about the very beginning. We're talking about when you start off that way.
I do.
This instance specifically is what Kojo meant in the instance of Shaq and Kirsten.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. There are men that are handsome. There are men that are fine. There are men that are okay, but Kirsten saying that at that time, I was like, to me, I said, oh, she's saying perfectly passable. She's like, okay, I'll go with this. That's what she was saying. She wasn't saying
baseline.
So
I think that's the caveat to all of this. No one believed it.
Hold on.
The moment she said it, we didn't believe it.
So I cannot be hot coochie attracted to you. However, you might still be a handsome man. Cause she may not like bald men, but he's still a good looking man on his own merit, right? He's not ugly. He's not deformed, you know. He ain't got no like ugly nose, you know. He's still a good looking man. However, for me, if you 28, 29 years old and you're already bald head, that's a problem. You way too young to be bald head. You need to be at least 45 to be bald head. Like make it big.
He's like 33.
Get Luden out of here. Get Luden out of here.
Lag on the play. Lag on the play.
You wanted that to be on your team. This is what you get, Sean.
Oh no!
You got sprayed up, bro.
Good advocate, Sean.
Straight bullets on that.
Save
How
your
I
client,
catch a
sir.
stray? How I catch a
Attorney
stray,
Delane,
my
save
way?
your client, sir. Your client needs saving, bro. You put her on the stand. She's
Right.
out
I
here
usually
killing
catch
your
a good
defense.
stray with Seaway.
What
And
type of-
she's not even here today, and I caught a stray.
What type of stress this man has to be under to be losing all his hair?
Ludwig!
The
Oh,
student debt. The
Going.
student debt. The studying.
Get Luden out of
Uh-huh.
here.
my boy stressed. Okay, he no longer
Ludwig.
stressed. He is stressed with a K. You know what I'm saying?
Ludwig.
That man is going through
Ludwig.
the
Listen.
change.
Ludwig, you said he ain't going to be able to afford nothing for 15 years. Don't you think that's stress?
Ludwig.
Leave
You-
bald heads alone.
Ludwig.
Bald
I
heads
don't think you noticed you're kind
matter.
of insulting Sean over here. Sean's like, yo, I'm bald. You spraying me.
Hold on. Sean's not
They
20
get me.
years old like Shaq is. You know what I'm saying?
What you say he should be bald? Wait a minute. No.
You
What I'm
see, that's what I'm
saying-
trying to say to you. The handsome don't mean
Hold on.
jackal when people are saying stuff like this. It don't mean jackal when they say stuff like this. This is how they go and compliment you.
Ludwig.
Like, yeah, well, you know, you handsome, but you know what? Like, you don't,
you know how
funny
some
guy,
white
talking
Spray
about
Sean
hair.
up and you
Tell me
Hold on.
you had the white bobbin core, and I can just totally forgive you because you were celebrating for Haitian Flag Day. Because other than that, you now you just age shamed me. You know, it's like I'm just getting gut punched. I don't have nothing left. So I should be bald because you're saying I'm old as hell?
No,
Like,
no.
what?
What happened was
You see?
is it's a normal progression to lose hair as you grow, right? So if I do see someone in their late 40s, early 50s, if they went bald head, then that's fine because I do see like receding
So
line.
I'm late 40s.
You
Sean,
did-
let your defense rest.
What I'm saying is it's normal if I see average men in their late 40s to 50s getting, going the bald way and then doing a nice little beard cut, it's sexy. But to be 28 years old, 29 years old and already balding, what you got going on, fam? You ain't got no kids yet. You know what I'm
So
saying?
how am I gonna believe you when you add then? Oh, but I think he's handsome. I'm gonna call cap on all the stuff you just told because the real truth is what you just said right there. That's what I'm trying to say to you. You and Kirsten are like this. You are like that because that's how she feels about bald heads. You know what I'm saying? So the reality is, if you now come and tell me I'm handsome, what you really saying is, Negro, you ugly, you passable, and I can make do. I can just about make do. You know what I'm saying? That's what Kirsten's saying, and that's what I'm trying to say to you. Like, as for me, I can't do it because I know it was capped from the beginning. So I'm saying that, look, I'm not saying that women can't grow in their attractions. I'm with it. I think women can grow in their attractions, right? But this is why we're this generation at the moment, at this time and point in time. Once you get what you want, this is how we start having issues. Okay. But no, in reality with Kirsten, I mean, listen, I don't think she's actually necessarily a bad person. I'm just saying that from the very beginning, the way she had started off the whole piece was disrespectful. And the disrespect kind of continued in the course of the relationship. And I'm saying that if that is the case, how do you expect me to trust what you're saying? So when we were saying, obviously, flipping it to handsome, I'm like, well, if you call me that from the very beginning, like you said, two truths could be existing, right? So why didn't she start off the conversation by saying he's handsome? Why didn't she start the conversation about, hey, I don't like bald heads, but I still think he's handsome? Why was it the first thing her thing was not like he's got a bald head, and y'all know I don't like bald heads, and he's unattractive to me. Like, so what do you want me to do about that? You know what I'm saying? So now you want me to believe that you flipped it? No, because you could have still said handsome and said that I got a bald head, I don't do bald heads.
You
But
want
you
me
didn't.
to shame you, Kojo?
You can shame me, but I'm saying at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying to you. I personally, if you don't feel me from the beginning, it's okay. Don't feel me. It's okay. I don't, you know what I mean? You don't have to do too much. You know what I mean? Yeah, you don't have to do too much. Listen, just don't force yourself to be in a situation you don't necessarily want to be in. And I think she was comfortable. I think here's the reality I think will happen, right? Here's the thing. Kirsten's a fine ass babe. She can get bare man who she wants, right? Reality is, I think she can get him. I think she doesn't keep him very well, right? This is one man that stuck around for 8 weeks, all right, because of the course, right? You get used to somebody being in their space. You're with them every single day. It does get like comfortable, and you start to get used to them until there's distance in a relationship. So when people start going to work and having to spend time away from you, suddenly that close knit that you have, because you're spending every day together, it begins to grow apart. Because really and truly, you don't really like the person the way you thought you did, right? But because you were forced to stay with that person for so long, you think you like them, right? I just don't see it. I'll be honest with you. I'm not saying that she didn't get a little bit more closer to him, a bit more touchy-feely. I saw that. I'm just saying that for me personally, after the disrespects, even if he did like me, it's a disrespect that's going to take me out. I can't do it. The disrespect, I can't do it personally. And I think there's more coming. Okay? I think there's more coming, right? I think there's hidden things that Kirsten's not telling us. That's why we had to wait so long to meet your dad. Your dad not coming on camera has got no excuse as why I haven't met your dad so early in the show. Your dad could have met me off camera like he did later on the show. Something isn't quite right. Something isn't quite right in the milk. And no matter buttocks, no matter thighs, no matter how fine she is, no matter how much melanin she had, Carrie is going to make me look at her and go, let me just ignore the red flags that I saw. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying she's bad. I'm saying that just something isn't quite right. And for me, I gotta bounce. But Camille, you had your mic open, and I know you want to say something. I know you've been waiting patiently. Jump in for us, sis.
Not really. I was just I was just listening to everybody's commentary. I guess I disagree that she was disrespectful. I guess that's the part that I'm not getting. I didn't see it as disrespect. I saw it as her attempting to be honest without being offensive. Whereas we saw a lot of contrast with other people expressing their level of unattraction, and it was disrespectful. So I didn't interpret her statements, some of her statements, as disrespect. I interpret it as her trying to be honest, not be a liar, and not pretend, while at the same time letting him know I'm still open, even though I'm not necessarily initially drawn to you. I'm not going to lie to you and pretend, but I'm also letting you know I'm leaving the door open for something to grow between us. So I didn't see her comments in the beginning as disrespect. I do agree with Lou. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but I agree with her when she was saying that there's a level of comfort that's been established there because there's not a lot of depth between them. And I think because neither one of them know how to really go deep emotionally, there's a level of comfort she's willing to accept, to have the stability of being married and having the ring. And I don't think it's because her feelings are disingenuous. I think it's because she hasn't been able to dive deeper into her true feelings. Because what I see is really Shaquille wanting like a beautiful emotional support animal. You know, everything's been about his needs from the very beginning. He hasn't really expressed how he wants to serve the marriage. He never expressed how he really wanted to serve his wife. It's always been about the support he needs, how he needs somebody to come and watch him do his job so he can feel of value in the relationship. It's been about how Kirsten responds and her, him manipulating every single aspect of her a response to some of his requests. I've never, for the length of the season, heard him really try to delve into what she needs. And then when he asked, he was very impatient and dismissive. And I never saw him as, and I'm not saying he's a bad guy, I just never saw him as husband material. And I think for Kirsten, because she hasn't delved deeper into her emotional spaces, she doesn't realize that a lot of her, or she doesn't trust her initial unattraction is really based on energy. And bald head, I mean, you can say you have to me, bald head is a preference. It doesn't make a man ugly if he has a bald head, and I don't like bald heads, or I don't go for bald heads. It doesn't turn his face into a dragon's face. It's just like he doesn't have dreads. Maybe I like dreads and he has a bald head. That doesn't make him ugly. But I think she distrusts her own intuitive responses. And I think her intuition energetically was telling her certain things about Shaquille from the very beginning that she continued to try to override. And now that she's overrode all of those things and come to the end, she's now in this place where she's willing to go along, to get along, and get along, go along. And I just see Shaq being very emotionally unstable, as Sean was talking about being represented by the suit. He talked about the depression. He talked about the kind of he hinted out those things, the emotional back and forth. And I can really see where that is almost like draining. And I can even see it in Kirsten's face. Like, she was like, I saw how it affected him, and I was deeply, I didn't want to let him down. And it's become all about him and his emotional needs. I really feel like it's more than what's being shown on the show behind the scenes. If we could really get more behind the scenes, I could really see how some of his emotional moods are very draining and very almost like a succubus, an energetic succubus. When somebody is like emotionally unstable and they need so much emotionally and so much support and so much of this, you don't have any space to open up. It doesn't make you feel safe to open up. I think she noted that from the very beginning, because look at the wedding. Look at their wedding. Even though she wasn't initially attracted to him, they had a different vibe. It was a different vibe. She was a lot more open. But I think as she spent more time with him, her intuition was telling her, emotionally, this is not a space for me to open up. It's not a space for me to do that. And she actually did what she was supposed to do, which was stay back, reserve her energy, played her part, and see where this guy was going. And I think because she wound up overriding and being pushed into, push past your non-attraction, push past this, she wound up overriding her intuition and coming into the space where now she's being energetically sucked in by someone who is not in a place to actually emotionally support her at all. So
I think that's some great points, Camille. Just gonna say,
I
think that's some great points.
Where's your sound effect, Coach? That deserves emotional succubus deserves a sound effect. That's elite. That's elite top tier. That's a breakdown.
I agree. I love that. I also agree. He is definitely emotionally stunted. I think that, talking about the car accident, and I think that him, as a child, he probably did not get like the things that he needed and that attention and that affection that he needed. I totally agree with you on that. I actually have a question for you. What do you think of Kirsten then? Looking at the, do you think that she has emotional awareness? I'm asking you, Camille. I'm asking because Camille's new, and what do you think about Kirsten?
I think she lives on the surface of a lot of things. I think she lives on the surface. It's not that I don't think she has the capability of going deeper. It's not that. it would definitely take a totally different person to help facilitate her going deeper. But I do feel like she stays on the surface of things because that's how she's lived her life. I think that's what's pushed her forward, is not having to go deeper. I think she did. I think because people judge pretty people a certain way, they also don't encourage you to go deeper because they've already judged you based on your external experience or your external appearance, and they almost project onto you. So, you know, they don't see you as having endured or gone through a lot of things that, or even deeper things that people that they don't interpret as beautiful have gone through. And so they leave you, they let you be on the surface because they're really objectifying you based on how you look. So I feel like she's been objectified a lot based on her thighs and her butt, her, you know, and her face and her looks and the way she carries herself. And she hasn't really had probably the space to be able to go deeper. And so she's relied a lot on just staying on the surface of things, not only to be successful at what she does, but also to navigate relationships. I think she's been seen in a way that maybe her value hasn't been magnified beyond her looks or beyond what men think of her when they first see her. So she's safe being there. And I think even with Shaq, I think she wanted to open up a little bit. I remember they had this little spa day, and a lot of people interpret it as her as like being really closed. But when a person is like that, you really have to allow a lot more space and create this atmosphere where they feel comfortable going deeper. And I feel like because Shaq saw her, I'm attracted to you. I see what I want. I want you to open up right now. And she didn't in the way that he wanted her to. And he became very impatient with her. And I feel like then it kind of put them back at square one. Every time they were kind of making progress, the way I saw Shaq responding because of the emotional space he's in, he didn't leave that open for her at all. So, yeah, I think Kirsten is actually I think she's a really sweet person. I think she's a very caring person. Now, how this played out on the show will be different because we see, you know, all these relationship matters being compressed within the 8-week time period. But I actually think with therapy, there's a lot more to her and a lot more that she'll be able to offer just from her standpoint as a woman standing within herself. People expect her to go serve, like Shaq wanted her to just go serve, go do this. But I think if she gets to the place where she's able to really connect with the deeper parts of herself, she's going to be able to offer just by her presence so much more than Shaq was trying to get from her, which was running around to different cities and watching him do things. But he's not in that space to be able, even from the masculine point, to be able to receive that. So they don't need to be together, but I think this was a good learning experience. Honestly, I think it'll probably benefit her more than it will benefit him. I don't think he's really at the place yet where it's going to benefit him, maybe down the line. But I think for her, if they walk away from this experience, they're not together, I think it's going to give her a little bit more time to reflect.
Thank you again, Camille. I loved your breakdown. I just want to say, I think you kind of proved our point. The girl's not ready for marriage, and that's the point we're trying to make. Thank you. That's the point we're trying to make. She's not ready. She's not ready. And I'll just say this as well to add. I did a video on this, and I did back your point on this on the Spa situation. I saw him do all those things. By the way, what I'm saying doesn't mean that Shaq is off the hook. Shaq's got big problems. You know, I think he's far too feminine, far too much in his emotions. You know, he's somebody who's going to be emotionally reactive. He's not going to be a safe space for Kirsten. They're both and what we call antithesis of each other, right? They are the opposites of each other. That's why they put them together. You know, the experiment was to try and hopefully they would open each other up. The problem is it usually doesn't work that way, right? But the reality is no amount, and that's what I said about the Kirsten situation. It's really interesting because when men are like this, we say that we don't want women to be the incubator for that man. And I would agree. I don't want no man also being an incubator for Kirsten, because what Kirsten needs is a therapist. What she needs is me to sit on the screen with her for the next 2-3 hours and be like, so Kirsten, you've gone through a lot. So what's happening? And then I'm going to be silent for the next 5 minutes. And she's going to go, okay. So after 5 minutes, Negro, we ain't got the time. Like if I'm a therapist and I'm a coach, I can do that. But if I'm your partner, I can't do that. You know what I mean? So, you know, oh, my laptop's going to go off.
Yeah. Go ahead. And Trey's got a point too. Trey's got a statement.
I was going to say, I actually agree with you, Camille, that she's not, she takes a long time to get to that space where she can open up, and you have to let her have that space. I think even Coach O said a couple of weeks in that he kind of stepped in and she was trying to answer the question, but it took her so long to get to that it seemed like he was stepping on her words, and he interrupted her, and she needs time to marinate to answer the question. So yeah, I agree with you. And I also agree that the point about her being so pretty, a lot of times she's never been able to add to the conversation because people just think, oh, well, she's so pretty that she doesn't have to, and she can just be pretty, and she can just, I absolutely agree with that she's never been allowed that time to add to the conversation and add to that, you know, show her intelligence or show a different side of herself. So she's kind of leaned into that other side of her. So I agree with you on that. But because of that, this was a totally wrong matchup for them two. And they're in totally different spaces. I forgot my other point, but I've talked enough. Go ahead.
Trey.
Oh, I mean, I was going to make a statement, but Coach was kind of getting to my point. I was going to ask, like, can we just agree that at times Shaq did show himself to be an emotional leech, and there were times where Kirsten showed herself to be an emotional brick, and those two canceled each other out.
That was my point. Yes, absolutely. I agree.
All this back and forth, you know, it really got to the point people felt like we was giving smoke to one, smoke to the other. I'm like, no, they canceled each other out. To what Sean was saying weeks ago, they both was given the bare minimum. You know, we're just going over and find the points of who's more wrong or right. Really didn't matter. They both just canceled each other out. The only thing that confused me out of this whole situation was when we saw this episode last night, and she said, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Why?
Where did that come from?
I still ain't got the answer. Why? Because it don't make sense. Everything that we have said tonight only leads to my further point. It should have never been a yes. So in my mind, for you to say yes, it only pushes the idea, you know what, you've just been performative this whole time, because it's been obvious that you cared about how you looked on camera. I saw that from the get-go. But like Coach O was getting to, Shaq ain't off the hook either. Like, he's not a safe space for anybody. You know, he is emotional draining. He drained us for some weeks. Like, dude, what's going on with you? Like, chill out. You know what I'm saying? He was, and all these temper tantrums. Like, bro, chill out. You know, but it doesn't help when, like you said, you trying to pull from an emotional brick, it's frustrating. And he's a leech. And that's even worse. So it's like, cancel out. You know, just throw it all away. But the funny thing is, we saw this from episode 1 when they met. They got together. So all this flip flop. Oh, because she wasn't into him. He was. We know he was. She wasn't into him. Weeks later, it's a flip, and we all know what the flip was. The moment it was in week 4, and they asked him the question, and he straight up said, "No, if things continue like it is, it'll be a straight up no." All of a sudden, Kirsten turned it on. She's open now. Performative. It's performative. I appreciate it. I saw more of her because I'm be honest, I actually kind of like Kirsten. But I'm gonna call out the fakeness. No. Shaq, I can't call him fake. He's just been since day one. Like, nah, there's problems there. Since day one. He's been glaring. We saw what his issue was going to be when he came in here. And it just got worse and worse over the week because he's been rude to her. There's been times where I thought he was rude to her. But like I said, they just keep bumping against each other. So to me, it just cancels out. The only thing that confused me when she said yes, that threw me for a loop. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. It's just giving, oh yeah, we on TV. I need to look good. But that was it.
So I agree, because if he is as draining emotionally as everybody's analysis is suggesting, if he hasn't been giving her anything, he hasn't been kind to her or said anything nice to her, right? She didn't mention any of those things on decision day, right? She could have said a lot more if she really felt like that, but she didn't. So I think that if she is saying yes, it may not be for the reasons that will probably result in a successful outcome long term. Now, I will say, I agree. Kirsten seems like a very sweet, very nice person. She doesn't strike me as malicious, cold, calculating, vengeful, crazy, toxic. None of those things can be said about her from what we've seen.
That's Gina. Sorry.
That's Gina, exactly. But I would say Kirsten is sweet to the point where she may be a little aloof or not as self-aware, right? So when she does make these statements about her preferences, everybody has preferences. That's fine. But when you vocalize that to the point where you're emphasizing how much of a disappointment it is to see somebody that has what you're not looking for, then that's what seems fishy to me. It's like, okay, so he still has the same things that you found a problem with. Okay, you grew to like other areas, but there are also many other areas along the journey that you didn't like. Sense of humor, the plants, etc. We spoke about it extensively. So I agree. The thing that confused me about that, because I thought she would have said no. But the fact that she said yes, now I'm thinking, goodness, like what's Shaq gonna do? I'm really curious, because if he says yes, I think, judging by the last few weeks, it might be worth a try. If he says no, after building up to, the way he was speaking before the show ended, I was like, he's actually going to say yes. Like, he actually is going to say yes. And, I've been saying about this couple, it just seems like attraction was the bugaboo for them, and then it just spiraled into a few other things. But I haven't seen enough for me to say, you know, I'm fully convinced by them staying together. I haven't seen that at all.
I just want to go back to real quick what Camille was saying about Kirsten. I noticed it from the beginning when we went to their different apartments. There's nothing on the walls. There's nothing to show her personality. I feel like for years Kirsten has not had to, you know, be herself, or nobody's given her the space to show who she is. And then she lands herself in this relationship where a guy wants her to be emotional and be that emotion, be my emotional pillow, and wants her to do all of these things. And she's like, I don't even know who I am yet. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like she doesn't know who she is, and now she's in a relationship where this man wants her to see what I'm about and come to my my work and like be my that sugar baby on my arm and do all of these things. And she's like, that's not, I can't even figure out who I am yet. So you want me to do be that person for you. And that's really hard for her. I think that she needs to really, yeah, we've talked about therapy, but you could tell, and we talk about, oh yeah, that closet, but just that house really shows a lot about who she is or who she isn't yet. And you land in a relationship of this guy that wants you to do all of these things and be all of this, be this person. And I don't think that she knows who she is yet, and she's never had the space to speak up and figure that out. Or she's landed on Pretty, and may not have been on her of her own making. You know, she got her real estate license, done her own thing, but people have kind of objectified her for years. So she's landed in that. That's it.
Any other additions, guys? Any other additions? Don't worry. I know somebody will ask me if I was smoking our brother Shaq. Don't worry. I'll get him in my personal review like I did just today when I released a video. But yeah, no. I think you know, as I've spoken about Kirsten quite a bit, you know, I do understand where, you know, the pushback is for the Shaq situation as well. So it's not like I don't see it. I do see it. And I'm not saying Kirsten's even worse than Shaq, to be honest. I think Trey and Sean have kind of brought it to that perspective where I think it's about even drawing from both sides, you know, how this has unfortunately gone the way it's gone, you know. But I think there's some lessons for all of us to kind of learn. Hold your tongue. It's not everything you have to say that you feel, you know what I mean? Sometimes hold it back. You wait for the right time, you know, because some things when it's said, can't be undone, can't be taken back, can't be unheard, can't be unseen, you know, as well. So I think from both ends, there's things that can be learned. You know, Shaq can learn how to be a better with emotional regulation. I think that's why he needed so much from her. I said it already before. I think he's a bit wounded. We haven't really even addressed the fact that there's no father figure there and how that's impacted him. You know what I mean? Like, that's why he wanted to meet her dad so much, because he wanted a father figure from her side, right? So that's also an aspect that's going to play into relationship. How does he interpret being a man and that role as well? You know, that's also an aspect as well, because the reason why she triggered also too is because like he doesn't carry the traditional masculine presence all the time as well, right? So that doesn't mean he can't be emotional. That doesn't mean, me and Sean said it several times, does not mean he can't cry. Does not mean those things at all. What it does mean is, how do you show up? And actually Kirsten actually kind of gave him a blueprint, which he couldn't follow. The blueprint was very simple: carry some motherfucking boxes into the house, carry the shopping into the house, take the bin outside. It's the very traditional aspects that she needed from him. And that's not to say that he didn't do any of those, but it's to say that those are the kind of things she's requesting from you that are going to make her feel some type of way. Okay. All right. And next time you spray whipped cream in someone's mouth, don't force it down her throat. Okay. Be gentle, you know, have a bit of suave about you. You know, Brother Trey gave us the sound effect last night. It says, you know, you were moving like, you know, it was, you know, the radio, there was radio interference. You know what I mean? Like we need a little bit of you to work on that aspect there. You know what I'm saying? He was, you know, so that's Shaq does need to work on those things. And, you know, he is a very emotional. I don't want to say emotional because I think that's the wrong word, but he's somebody who's presents emotional on sleeve, and that's a problem, you know, because that doesn't make her feel safe. So he has to find a way of also being able to contain and present himself in a more masculine presence as well with that. And I do think there are wounds there, so there's going to be more requests of her to be implementing the emotional needs from him for his side as well, right? While she's starving on her side as well. So, you know, that's why I said I wanted the experts to be involved. This could have been saved. I can't lie to you. This could actually have been saved. It could have been saved, right? If the experts got involved, they could have pointed out these things instead of asking whether you think he's masculine and then not doing anything with it. Like, you know what I mean? It kind of, exploded on them. But hey, Sha, we have reached our 3 hour and gone past the minute. What do you want to say, Shawnee? Because you know you get to say anyway because you're the deacon anyway. You get to have the last word, so you can combine it in your benediction, sir.
No, just because I mean there might be something that you can add to that because I don't think it could be saved because I think just as though there's still something that like he would have to be something other than he is. I think. Okay. You know. I think they exhibit a couple that kind of worked through their challenges to a certain extent, but I think for them to have long-term success, it could have been saved for them to both be at a resounding yes at decision day. I agree, right? Because maybe he could have taken some of the feedback and made some changes, but I think long-term, he is who he is, and he might need to find a more masculine woman that likes him and doesn't have a problem, you know, like just a non-traditional modern woman that is not into the gender roles, doesn't really care about, you know, how you present or not, and, you know, is cool with that. And if you love her, she loves you. And as long as you guys can work together on a partnership, you know, maybe like a Gabrielle Union type, just, you know, in that, not like Gabrielle Union, but a type that just leads more. Like she's a leader in their household. So if he found a woman who could lead like that, but is willing to entertain all his needs, then that could work.
Now, what does she need to change? Because we heard what he needs to change.
Oh, she needs to be more open. She needs to also, you know, because just like we said, she should have said no. And I think like she just needs to rely more on her intuition. I think that she has some deep-seated daddy issues that she masked by elevating her dad to a point where, from what we've seen, no disrespect to her father, I don't think he should have been elevated because he didn't really show up for her in the way that she needed him to show up. And I think Kirsten is somebody that, you know, has been disappointed so many times. Instead of being embarrassed, you know, publicly, she'll say it's okay and she'll make excuses. And I think she's also done some of those same things for Shaq, right? Which is why she accepts the things that he did eventually. But she had those doubts, but didn't trust her gut, right? And that's because she's never really had the full support of her dad. So I think she does need to heal from that and just be honest, right? And it's not like you got to beat your dad up or bash him, but just be honest about the situation and understand the impact that it's had on you and how to make better and do better in terms of choices.
You know, I still find it, well, to your point, Sean, and I don't think we touched on that enough. Well, I think I tried to touch on it. I still find it very odd. She's been very to me. She's still, but even though she looks like she's trying to be open, it still came off as very standoffish towards Shaq until she finally took him to meet his father. It seemed like it went well. The father seemed to like him, talking about, hey, he told me to come back over for beers and stuff. Now all of a sudden, that's when I noticed her gun ho on it. that's when the true openness came up. I'm like, this is then. What was the big issue of holding off for him to meet him? Like Coach said earlier, you could do this weeks ago. Weeks ago, what was the holdup? Like something is just off. It's just always been a little off with Kirsten to me, and in the way she moves and how she does things, it's just been off. You know, but they both got issues, so it's a toss up. You know, it just so happened these two people with their particular personalities put together, and it showed deficiencies in each other for all of us to see. That's really what has happened here. Because on the surface, they're both decent people. We're not saying they're horrible or bad or anything. They're not. But how their personalities are, you put them together, it just made them bump heads, and we start seeing certain things, you know, certain sides of you are going to come out when you're around certain people. That's just life for all of us. You know, a person might come across and rub Sean the wrong way. We see a whole nother side of Sean we ain't never seen before. Like, whoa, I ain't never knew Sean was like that. Well, a person came through and, you know, it affected them, and now we see another side of Sean. It can happen to any of us. We just happen to see it live with them. Like, okay, yeah, this is not good. This is just not gonna work. You know. Yet it seems like they're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole on this. That's why it's just confusing to me. I don't understand why she said yes. It don't make sense. But who knows? We'll see what happens.
All right. Sean, do what you do best, beat.
Oh, you got it. So listen, folks, we're almost at the home stretch, you know, and we are back at this, but we appreciate you hanging in here, and we are 3 couples down. So we got 3 couples down, you know, Aris and Jasmine, that we are free of them and they are free of us, and they are free of each other. So hopefully they will go their separate ways. Jasmine can ride off in her 740 and go find somebody that wants her, because unfortunately, you know, Aris ain't it. And I really don't think these two should even be friends. I think, you know, this is to me, I see this as, I don't want to see them no more. Just go off and, you know, go find your person. And this is another clear example. Age is just a number, you know. Our girl Aaliyah told us age is just a number. And I think sometimes age doesn't mean maturity. Age doesn't mean being relationship ready. So make sure that you inspect, make sure that you vet, make sure that you are with somebody that has relationship maturity, emotional intelligence, and care. And, you know, for the ladies, please don't be so open and willing and accepting of just any old thing that a man may give you. Because that can be to your demise, because we can smell it. So, you know, thankfully, Aris didn't, you know, take her all the way out. We appreciate him for that. But, you know, Jasmine too needs to have some work to do. Chris and Nicole, we knew these two were going to say yes. Now, are they going to make it? I don't know. You know, I wish them well. They've said yes. Now they're together forever. But decisions need to be made. Where are we going to reside? How are we going to live our lives out together? Those are big concerns. And I think Nicole was right to want those questions answered. So hopefully we get some answers. Are they going to cohabitate? If they're not cohabitating, the clock's ticking. Clinton, Gina, biggest disappointment of the season. And it looks like they're going to be tussling over the dog. They're going to be tussling over the dog, good people. So let's see what happens, because it looks like Clint's like, I want Hank, because I've been taking care of Hank for these 8 weeks. And now me and Hank had a bond. I mean, listen, Hank was following Clint right to the door. So we talk about animals, and some like animals and some don't, but animals have a keen sensibilities. And I think Gina unfortunately missed the mark, you know. Those, most of us here on this good channel and watchers are believers, and our good Lord and Savior Jesus Christ was dismissed because he came riding in on a donkey. Please don't miss your blessing because it didn't come just the way you think it should come. Sometimes your blessing comes the way that it should come. So that's my lesson when it comes to Clinton Gina. Shaq and Kirsten, I think we have beaten the horse to its end. So, I'm going to wish them well. Let's wait to see what Shaq says next week. Hopefully it's a no so we can be free of them and free of the debate. Back to you, Coach.
Listen, we've been back with a bang. The boys and the ladies, the men and the women, I should even say, together for another enthralling conversation. Listen, TV1 has brought out The One, so that's my next show to review. Okay, Kurt Franklin brought a new date in the show. We gonna review it. I think it played on tonight, 9 p.m. So I'm gonna try and watch it tomorrow, and do a review for you guys as well. So maybe we can even do some stuff on a Saturday or a Sunday and do some panels on that. But yeah, listen, thank you guys for joining. I hope you had some fun. Ludwig came in with the assist and the dunk. We had Camille also come in with some great insight as well. Shout out to Crystal as well, holding it down as always. JR and Trey, thank you for triple teaming Sean to make sure he knows that, you know what, Kirsten, no matter how much bunda she has, all right, it don't matter. We're not blind. Okay. So I appreciate you, but I appreciate Sean even more for coming through, Sean, and holding it down as always. Deacon is always requested, and his end sermons are a powerful thing. So audience, thank you for joining us. We'll be back again, I believe, sometime. I think Sunday. Am I here? Yeah, Sunday. I think I'm here. I should be back in time from London. So yeah, I'm back Sunday. He needs to get his men's panel back on now. So we're gonna be back in all systems are gonna be go again. So listen, audience, we appreciate you. Stay locked, stay loaded, and we'll see you again very, very soon. And don't do anything I wouldn't do, baby. Okay, we appreciate you. Stay locked, stay loaded.